I'm wildly filtering spoilers in the dimensional chat group. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1, Belated Goldfinger. Liu, wake up and stop sleeping. Liu felt someone pushing him in a daze. He opened his eyes in a daze, and a familiar milky smell entered his nostrils. Then a delicate little face came into view. This girl had a face like everyone's first love. Long hair draped over her shoulders, a light blue high school uniform on the upper body, a pleated skirt on the lower body, and slender legs wrapped in white stockings. It was just a pair of A's on her chest, which was a bit sorry for the future child. Liu, who had just woken up, smelled the milky smell coming from the other person, and stood proudly. What's poking me? Yang Xiaomei, who was sitting on the bed, felt a little poking somewhere, and subconsciously reached down to grab it. It's my phone. Liu woke up immediately with a start, and changed from lying to sitting. By the way, he pulled the phone out from under the other person's legs. It's rare for you to stay in bed today. Yang Xiaomei looked at Liu curiously. She had known this guy for more than 10 years, and had never seen him stay in bed. Haha. Well, I slept a little late yesterday. Liu smiled awkwardly and shrank back. It's really rare. It's a very rare situation for you. Yang Xiaomei smiled and said, I brought you breakfast. Get ready to get up. You will be late if you dawdle. Just have breakfast first. I will celebrate your birthday after school today. Okay, then you go out first. I'll change my clothes. Liu yawned. TSK, it's like no one wants to see you. Yang Xiaomei rolled her eyes, then got up, and walked out of the room. Open the system. As Liu's mind moved, a chat group panel appeared in front of him. Sure enough, it's not a dream. The Goldfinger has really arrived. Looking at the virtual panel in front of him, Liu was very excited. 18 years. As a time traveler, do you know how I have spent these 18 years? Liu's eyes were filled with tears. 18 years ago, he traveled to this world and became a baby and was abandoned at the door of an orphanage. He was picked up by the director of the orphanage and named Liu. Liu originally thought that he had traveled to a parallel world similar to the Earth, and with his past life experience, he would be able to get along well. But unexpectedly, this is a parallel world. But it is a parallel world with extraordinary power. In this world, there is an energy called source power. People practice source power and can exert power beyond ordinary people with source skills. The historical development of this world is also different from that of the previous life. Human beings began to show signs of activity 9,000 years ago, and at that time people began to use source power ignorantly. Until 1,000 years ago, source power began to develop rapidly, and various source skills appeared. Then 150 years ago, source power began to develop into various source technologies. If it was just like this, it would not matter, but starting from 100 years ago, various natural disasters have occurred all over the world. The so-called natural disasters have uncertain sources, and they are manifested in various crazy monsters, weird mysterious objects, and supernatural disasters. In short, there is a common feature, that is, it is extremely harmful to humans, so it is called a natural disaster. Liu, who came to this world, can only survive cautiously. As a traverser, he has a very good memory and learns things quickly, but his other qualifications can only be said to be mediocre. Until last night, Liu, who had completed his daily practice, washed up and was about to turn off the lights and go to bed. Ding, the dimensional chat group has been charged. Do you want to bind and create a chat room? A mechanical voice suddenly sounded in Liu's head. Fuck, system? He sat up in shock from his dying illness. Liu's eyes lit up instantly, and he was no longer sleepy. Tongzi, is it you? I said that as a traverser. How could I not have a golden finger? Liu said excitedly. But the only response to him was the words, the dimensional chat group has been charged. Do you want to bind and create a chat room? It seems that this system has no artificial intelligence. Bad review. Liu curled his lips and said helplessly, bind, create a chat room. Ding. The chat room was created successfully. As the sound rang, A virtual panel similar to the Penguin group chat in the previous life appeared in front of Liu. Liu took a look and found that the panel was almost the same as the Penguin group in the previous life, except that he was the only member in the group in the lower right corner, and he was displayed as the group owner. Ding. The dimensional chat group was created successfully. As the chat group was successfully created, the functions of the chat group instantly appeared in Liu's mind. First of all, the chat group can randomly invite characters from all over the world to join the chat group. There is a probability that various parallel universes will be captured, and you may even see the Supreme Sorcerer Iron Man and Iron Man quarreling with various Iron Man. It is also possible to see Naruto and Naruto in the same frame. In short, everything is possible. The second chat group's hard currency is points. Points can be used for the lottery of the heavens, or to strengthen oneself, provided that the points are sufficient. The way to obtain points is to change the world line of the world of the group members. The greater the change, the more points you get. The second method is to sell valuable items to the chat group. Knowledge items are the cheapest, and precious items are the most expensive. Of course, the recycling price is 2/3 of the selling price. The third group members may also trade with each other, and the price is determined by themselves. Then there are all the basic functions that a chat group should have, such as group video, group voice, etc. Group benefits: the group owner can get 100 points for signing in every day, and the group members can get 10 points for signing in every day. The first sign-in of each month can get 10,000 points, 100 points for group members, and 1,000 points for administrators. The group owner can get the qualification to invite group members from time to time. The time is random, and the number of members is random. Ding. The first sign-in this month gets 10,000 points. Ding. Get an invitation from a group member once. Do you want to invite? Invite. After Liu understood the group function, he made a decision instantly. Ding. Invitation successful. Zhang Chulan joined the chat group. Ding. Invitation successful. Kalma-chan joined the chat group. Ding. Invitation successful. Sabo joined the chat group. Ding. Invitation successful. Uchiha Madara joined the chat group. Ding. Invitation successful. Kurosaki Ichigo joined the chat group. Oh, they are all familiar faces. Liu looked at the few people who joined the chat group and couldn't help curling his lips. In his previous life, he was a otaku, and he had watched almost all these popular anime. Originally, his memory should be blurred after traveling through time for more than 10 years, but the result is completely the opposite. He remembers the contents of these works clearly, including all kinds of memories of his previous life. Maybe it is due to the talent after traveling through time. Zhang Chulan, oh my god, this is incredible. Can I, Zhang Chulan, still encounter the scenes in the novel? Is this the legendary Golden Finger? Question mark. Calmero, what a joke. According to the setting of the novel, shouldn't Calmero's My World be an ordinary daily show? Chapter 2 Dimensional Chat Group. Although your world is a daily anime, but your hamster form that switches more smoothly than Dove. Tell me how scientific it is. Liu, who was peeking at the screen, couldn't help but complain. Ichigo Kurosaki, I feel like the whole world has changed. When I woke up the night before yesterday, I inexplicably became a god of death, and today there is a chat group that can cross parallel worlds. Karma, Kurosaki Ichigo. Is it the Kurosaki Ichigo I know? Kurosaki Ichigo? Kurosaki Ichigo, do you know me? Is it a classmate? Why don't the others speak? Liu, the other two should still be under observation. After all, this is not a modern society. They have not been exposed to things like chat groups, so they should not be very used to it. Liu looked at the situation in front of him and could almost guess that even the chat group stuffed the information into the other party's head at the moment of invitation. But for an old antique in the ninja world, a person in the pirate world, this thing should be very unfamiliar. But the three modern people are different. A college student, a home girl, and a high school student are still very familiar with chat groups on the modern internet, but this one is more advanced. Liu, as for the fact that Kaomaru knows you, how should I put it? When parallel worlds intersect with each other, they will emit some specific wavelengths to the surrounding world, and these wavelengths will sometimes be captured by certain specific people, thus generating inspiration for creation. Lee Yu. That is the so-called comics and light novels. Ichigo Kurosaki. So I'm a character in your world's comics? Or light novels? Kamaru. There are both in anime. And I'm very popular. Like Zangchulan. Great. Then according to what you said, isn't it equivalent to predicting the future if you read the work once? Shocked. Lee Yu. Although this is true, it is not entirely true. Zangchulan. Listening to your words is like listening to your words. Lee Yu. Although there are the same parallel worlds, the progress of the timeline between the worlds is different. Lee Yu. For example, in Ichigo Kurosaki's world, your timeline is still at the time when you were just called the god of death, while the timeline of some worlds is already many years later. However, once you make any slightly different decision at this time, the future will be completely changed, and there will be no so-called foreknowledge. Ichigo Kurosaki, this is what is called destiny is actually in your own hands, right? Zangchulan, but we can rely on the conditions of foresight to make the future develop in a more favorable direction? Is that right? Zangchulan's head immediately thought of the key point. Lee Yu. Billion is right. For example, in a certain Marvel universe, there are countless parallel worlds, and any decision made by the protagonists in it may extend a new timeline. Lee Yu. Especially after you get this chat group, there are more possibilities. Zangchulan. Wait, I understand everything else you said, but what does billion mean? I seem to feel a strong sense of sarcasm. Lee Yu. Remove the word seemingly, it is sarcasm. After all, you are the famous billion in the future. Karma. Oh. This chat group is so considerate. Not only does it translate into text that we can understand each other, it even has annotations. Kurosaki Ichigo. Let me see. Don't shake the lotus. It's a homophonic pun from the east, translated as don't force your face. Zangchulan. I really thank you for your considerate translation. Zangchulan looked at Lee Yu's words and got anxious. Zangchulan. Hey, don't slander me. How can I? Zangchulan. Not shake the lotus. Slander. You must be slandering me. Lee Yu. Hey. I have a bad temper. Looking at Zangchulan, who was stubborn, Lee Yu directly captured a video from his memory and sent it out. This is also the video editing function of the chat group. Lee Yu. Video. What I want to overthrow is President Feng of the Shiangsha Association, the Ten Lords, and what I want to overthrow is this sky. Kurosaki Ichigo. Kalmako, including Uchiha Madara and Sabo in the peeping screen, looked at the man in the video in the martial arts arena, pointing his finger to the sky with one hand, full of domineering. How can he not look like the kind of shameless person? Several people looked at Zangchulan in the video with a little curiosity, and they were puzzled. Come on, let me see who can accept the baptism of my key body sauce. It's not a foul if I hit him now, right? What? Zangchulan's sudden change of expression in the video caught several people off guard. It's not, but I want to hit you now. Okay, the referee can't stand it anymore. Where is your dignity as a strong man? The challenger, who was knocked to the ground, asked tremblingly. Dignity? How much is a pound? Don't shake the lotus. The people on the stage shouted. The video ends here. Kurosaki Ichigo. How should I put it? This nickname is indeed correct. Here, to be honest, Kurosaki Ichigo was also broken by Zangchulan's shameless strength. Bang. The teacher on the podium slapped the blackboard with a slap, shaking the chalk dust to fall down. Is my lecture funny, Ichigo Kurosaki? Yabe. Ichigo Kurosaki suddenly yelled in his heart. He actually laughed out loud in class. Zangchulan looked at himself in the video. It seems that it is indeed something he can do. He just accepted the invitation of the Luotian Daijio at Langhu Mountain. Looking at himself in this video, it is obviously the scene of the Luotian Daijio. Zangchulan's eyes began to roll around, and I don't know what he was thinking. Komari. Ha 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 ha. Rolling on the ground with laughter. Komari. Is this what the East calls all is fair in war? Thumbs up. Zangchulan. That's right. As the saying goes, war is the way of deception. This is a strategy. How can you say it's not a trick? Really? Lee Yu. Yes, this is the energy of not shaking the blue lotus. It has that flavor. Zangchulan. Hey, 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 what are you talking about? Brotherly, we are all brothers. By the way, I'm at the Luotian Daijio in the video. Zhang Chulan, I wonder if Brother Lee can reveal a little more information to me. A little bit of the universe between fingers. Lee Yu, how should I put it? You did encounter a lot of things on this trip to Langhu Mountain, especially some things that will make you regret for the rest of your life. Lee Yu, but it is not unavoidable. But you also know this. Rubbing fingers. Lee Yu, you know, there is no free lunch in the world. Zhang Chulan, hey Brother Lee, if you have any needs, just tell me. I, Zhang Chulan, can do it without any ambiguity. Zhang Chulan looked at Lee Yu's words and immediately became alert. It's not that he was alert to Lee Yu, but he was alert to what the so-called regret for the rest of his life meant. Lee Yu, I won't hide it either. I want the golden light curse and Yang Wu Lei. The reward is that I will tell you everything that happens to you in the future. Chapter 3, Don't Shake the Lotus. Lee Yu and Chulan, don't worry, the news I give you will definitely make you worth your money. In the world of under one person, Zhang Chulan looked at the message sent by Lee Yu and fell into deep thought. The golden light curse and Yang Wu Lei, these two things, he thought at first that they were the family heirlooms passed down to him by his grandfather. But a few days ago, he learned that they were the unique secrets of Langhu Mountain. Anyway, it's not spread in this world. Zhang Chulan muttered in his heart. Zhang Chulan, okay, I promise you. Lee Yu looked at the message sent by Zhang Chulan and smiled. Sure enough, this guy agreed. Then, Lee Yu directly brought up the plot of the TV version of Under One Person in his mind. That's right, it's the TV version. When Lee Yu saw the face that looked like Peng Peng, he was sure that this Zhang Chulan was the version of Under One Person in the TV version. However, Lee Yu did not release the plot completely. He deleted the plot of watching birds under the moon. If this guy knew that he would be fooled by someone to watch birds under the moon in the future, he would definitely avoid it with his temperament. How could Lee Yu let this happen? This kind of plot must be recorded in full to be worthy of Zhang Chulan, don't you think? After Lee Yu uploaded the file to the chat group for sharing, Zhang Chulan did not hesitate to organize his own skills and uploaded them to the group for sharing. Zhang Chulan, Golden Light Curse and Yang Wu Lei. Everyone who is interested can download and learn. Kurosaki Ichigo, I'm not very interested in your skills, but I'm very curious about your story. Kamaru, Woohoo Online Chasing Series. Lee Yu, I guess. Except for Kamaru, I guess the other few people are not needed. The force value of their world is not low. Then Lee Yu downloaded the files of Golden Light Curse and Yang Wu Lei. Ding, Golden Light Curse and Yang Wu Lei are detected. Do you want to spend 1000 points to learn with one click? Yo. Lee Yu's eyes lit up. I didn't expect there was such a function. Learn. Then, the use of Golden Light Curse and Yang Wu Lei appeared directly in Lee Yu's head. Do you want to view the personal panel? Check. Name. Lee Yu Source Power Level. Tiger Source Skills. Basic Breathing Method. Tiger. Golden Light Spell. Ghost. Yang Wu Lei. Ghost. Comprehensive Level. Ghost. The comprehensive level has reached the ghost level. Not bad. Lee Yu looked at his panel and nodded secretly. In Lee Yu's current world, everyone cultivates source power. Because this world is not safe. This world is full of rich source power. No matter what creature in this world, there is more or less source power in the body. In the mountains and rivers, there are crystals of source power, source stones. Source power is an existence that no creature in this world can do without. According to investigations, traces of human beings began to be active in the world 8,000 years ago. With the development of human beings, the profession of Source Master has gradually developed and matured. But starting from 800 years ago, an ominous thing called natural disasters slowly appeared in the world. Natural disasters carry disaster aura, including but not limited to disaster beasts, disaster objects, disasters, etc. Anything with disaster aura is a deadly poison for creatures with source power, so it is collectively called natural disasters. Natural disasters, like Source Masters, are divided into 6 levels: Tiger, Ghost, Mad, Extermination, Dragon, and God. Each level is divided into 1 to 3 stars. The level of Source Masters is generally determined by the Source Master Association. Because the level of Source Masters is not entirely determined by source power, but a comprehensive rating, based on the source skills learned, and the source power level. As an orphan, Liu grew up in an orphanage. He has only reached the tiger level of 2 stars by practicing a basic breathing method for the general public. He has no source skills, but only a rough fist and foot. This qualification is better than the average person. Then Liu directly used all the remaining points to strengthen his source power. After the points were smashed, the source power directly became Tiger 3-star Tiger level source power. Combined with Ghost level skills, the comprehensive strength has reached Ghost level 1 star. According to the current strength, the top 10 schools in the country can be entered at will. After all, the comprehensive strength of the provincial champions in the previous major exams was only Ghost level 1 star. Although there is a gap in strength, it is not big. Liu muttered to himself while looking at the panel. Before obtaining the golden finger, Liu's goal was to get into a decent university and then live a stable life. But now it's different. With the opportunity to climb high, who would want to be a salted fish? He didn't have the chance before, but now he wants to be a good for nothing. He didn't have the chance before, but now he wants to stand in the sky. We have no rivals in front of us, don't you think, Landa? Umaru-chan, hahaha, I can't believe it after reading this. I can't believe you are such a Zangchulan. Ichigo Kurosaki, how should I put it? You are definitely worthy of not shaking the Blue Lotus. Zangchulan, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is called being forced by life, understand? Umaru-chan, I believed your lies. You are a very bad guy. Liu, memory transmission. It seems that everyone is watching it quite quickly. Liu, do you have any ideas? Zangchulan, let's not talk about the distant things first. I will never let Master Shan get into trouble during the trip to Mount Lanhu. Liu, I can go to help during the Luotian Daijiro. There is a function for group members to travel through the world. Liu, by the way, I also want to go to the alien world to play. Umaru-chan, this alien world is really interesting. The old people are tougher than each other, and the young people are more sleek than each other. Ichigo Kurosaki, am I the only one who thinks that the old master's strength is too beyond the scope? He really doesn't need a second blow to hit people. Liu, that's not the case. Over there, when the old master is happy, he is second to none, and when he is unhappy, he is one step behind everyone else. Zangchulan, but then again, why are you still digging holes and not filling them? What about the stories behind? Liu, it's not my fault. Who made the dog director shoot only 1 season? Kamaru, but now that you know about Sister Bao's life experience, don't go to Duanmuang. That old woman is very bad. She even made Sister Bao lose her memory again. Ichigo Kurosaki, even hitting such a young child, even if Lucy I is a piece of shit, Lu Huan is innocent. Ichigo Kurosaki himself has 2 younger sisters, so he naturally can't stand Duanmuang's attack on children. Liu, there is no way. Duanmuang was imprisoned by Lucy I for many years. To her, the Lu family is naturally not innocent. The plot of the TV version is different from the anime version. There are many holes in the TV series, such as Duanmuang and the Lu family and Feng Bao's life experience. Kamaru, in short, your primary goal for this trip to Langhu Mountain is to protect Mr. Shan's life. Only the things that happened later can be discussed later. Zangchulan, yes. Anyway, the most important thing has been known. Now the primary goal is to pass Langhu Mountain first. Chapter 4, Walking the Chicken, Mr. K. Anyway, they talked about nothing for most of the night, and Liu didn't fall asleep until the second half of the night. Looking at the panel in front of him, well, it's not a dream. The gold finger is really activated. Get up and eat. Liu and Yang Xiaomei are both senior high school students in Qinghai No. 1 middle school. The two grew up in an orphanage, but later Yang Xiaomei was adopted, while Liu was not. He rented a house outside to work and study. How should I put it? In terms of land area alone, this world is more than 100 times larger than the Earth in the previous life. In particular, the technology system powered by Source Stone is much more advanced than the technology in the previous life, so the housing price is very cheap. The orphanage is crowded and noisy, so Liu moved out when he was in high school for the convenience of cultivation. He became a neighbor of Yang Xiaomei's family. Of course, only he knows if there are other thoughts in this. After breakfast, Liu changed into his school uniform and went out with Yang Xiaomi. Yo, Uncle K's walking chicken. The two greeted acquaintances along the way. When we got downstairs, we passed by the basketball court in the community. An old man with grey hair was playing basketball with a pet chicken wearing dungarees on the basketball court. That's right, it was the chicken playing basketball. This world is full of source power, and the animals in nature must be different from those ordinary animals on the earth in the previous life. Under the nourishment of source power, even small pets have good IQ and physical strength. For example, the pet chicken of Grandpa K in front of us has an IQ that is not much inferior to smart dogs such as golden border collies. Its small body can walk briskly on the basketball court and even head the basketball into the basket. Looking at the old man, his hair is grey, but his body is strong, and he can even stand up and dunk. This is the benefit of practicing source power. Hey, Xiao, sister, are you going to school? Grandpa K looked in good spirits and greeted the two with a smile. Good morning, Grandpa K. Xiaomi Yang also responded with a smile. Why does Dakan look a little bit depressed today? Looking at the pet chicken that ran a few laps on the court and looked a little weak, Xiaomi Yang asked curiously. This chicken is usually full of energy and shows off its power. Haha, this guy had diarrhea a few days ago and only recovered yesterday. He is a little weak, so I took him out for exercise today. Then Uncle K, you continue to play. We are going to school. With Dakan's shoulder, the basketball went into the net. The two did not stop and went straight to the school. King Hei No. 1 Middle School is a key high school in the city. In this world, junior high school students begin to practice breathing methods to cultivate the source power in their bodies to lay a foundation. Those who can go to school here are either outstanding in cultivation talent or outstanding in cultural performance. Although this is a world dominated by source power, it does not mean that talents in other industries are not needed. Liu's source power level was the peak of the 2-star tiger level before last night, and he was almost able to enter the 3-star level, so he reached the 3-star level with a slight strengthening yesterday. With the previous source power cultivation, he can rank around the top 20 in the school. It can be said that it is very good. After all, among the top 10 people, except for Yang Xiaomi, who is gifted and relies on her own cultivation to reach 3 stars. The other family conditions are good, and they are basically taking potions that help practice. But now it's different. After Liu broke through to 3 stars, he can now rank in the top 10. The two came to school, and Yang Xiaomi had just arrived in the classroom. A boy with greasy hair and powdered face approached. Looking at this boy, Yang Xiaomi's face suddenly darkened. Little sister, The boy just approached Yang Xiaomi and opened his mouth to speak. Liu pushed him away with a shoulder bump. Hey, what are you doing? Wu Yiqian was knocked by Liu and staggered, and immediately became furious. Liu shuddered. Wu Yiqian, can you not be so disgusting so early in the morning? Liu's scalp was numb by Wu Yiqian's words. I'm talking to Yang Xiaomi, what's it to you? You're blocking the way. Liu raised his hand and pushed Wu Yiqian away, not intending to pay attention to him. Hey, don't push me. Yang Xiaomi couldn't bear it anymore. When she saw Wu Yiqian, she quickly took 2 steps to the seat and sat down. This guy is so disgusting. After sending Wu Yiqian away, Liu sat next to Yang Xiaomi and rubbed the goosebumps on his arms. I had to blow up several nursing homes in my previous life to get entangled with this thing. Yang Xiaomi held her forehead with her hand. Her expression was uncomfortable. Wu Yiqian was his sweeter. How can I describe this person? As a man, he spoke in a pretentious way. He made himself look greasy and powdered every day, and he thought he was handsome. He was greasy and didn't know it. If you want to say he was bad, he wasn't a bad person, but he was just disgusting. His family conditions were good, and he was in the clothing business. There was also a family heirloom skill, a tiger level 3-star leg technique, which involved stepping on a sewing machine. It was said that it was the leg technique created by his grandfather Wu Yifan when he just started his business. However, his talent for cultivation was hard to describe. With the help of cultivation potions, his source power was only on par with that of Liu before. To be honest, if Liu had the money to buy cultivation potions, he would have broken through to 3 stars long ago, and it was estimated that he would even be able to reach ghost level 1 star in the college entrance examination. But there was nothing he could do, who made him poor. Looking at Yang Xiaomi, who didn't want to pay any attention to him, Wu Yiqian had no choice but to return to his seat. Speaking of Yang Xiaomi, as the school beauty of King Hei No. 1 Middle School, she had many suitors before. However, everyone knew that she and Li Yu were childhood sweethearts, and she was not polite to other boys. Later, there were few suitors. Only Wu Yiqian was persistent. The classmates were naturally used to the entanglement of these 3 people, and they just regarded it as a joke early in the morning. After 2 classes were finished quietly, Wu Yiqian came to the door again. Li Yu, the next class is a practical class. Do you dare to be my opponent? Wu Yiqian came to Li Yu and posed a posture that he thought was very handsome. Why do you want to be beaten again? Li Yu glanced at Wu Yiqian. This guy was just beaten down by him last week, and he came to serve again. Humph, last time you just relied on your stronger source power to defeat me. This time my source power has broken through to 3 stars, 1 level higher than yours, plus my source skill is crazy stepping on the sewing machine. You are sure to lose this time. I must show my little sister who is the right choice for her. Looking at Wu Yiqian, who was cosplaying as the crook-mouthed Dragon King and thought he was so cool and awesome, but was actually greasy and awkward, Li Yu's eyebrows twitched. Where on earth did this guy get his inexplicable confidence from? And your weird look, you are a perfect template for a villain. And your lines, how did you say them so awkwardly? It's so hard for me. Chapter 5. This bastard is quite ruthless. In the training room, there was still some time before the class started, and the teacher hadn't arrived yet. The students all changed into sportswear and were exercising. Can you do it for a while? Or should I do it myself? Give him a beating? No problem. That idiot thought he was the only one who made progress. I'll tell you quietly that I also made a breakthrough. I'm also 3 stars now, still in control. Li Yu whispered to Yang Xiaomi. When did you make a breakthrough? Yang Xiaomi was surprised to hear this. Then you can go to the school to apply for a source skill. Generally speaking, it is basically not recommended to learn source skills before the source power reaches 3 stars. Because the source power before 3 stars is not enough to support the use of source skills, it is very dangerous to use source skills when the source power is insufficient. Therefore, before the ghost level 3 stars, the school will only teach students some boxing and kicking skills. The real source skills can only be learned and used after reaching 3 stars. After reaching 3 stars, students can apply for a source skill at school for practice. Of course, the level is definitely not high, and they are all common stuff. Before, neither of them had reached the level of Tiger level 3 stars, and they all used fists and feet to fight. Li Yu estimated that Wu Yiqian had probably broken through at least a week ago. And now he must have mastered his family's inherited source skills and stepped on the sewing machine crazily. So Wu Yiqian dared to challenge Li Yu with full confidence. However, Li Yu was not worried at all about this. There was no way he had a plug-in. The skills learned in the chat group could be mastered directly. After being strengthened by the chat group, Li Yu's source power in his body was much stronger than Wu Yiqian, who had just broken through. Coupled with the golden light curse Yang 5 Thunders, he had no idea how to lose. Li Yu, I admit that I opened it. You guys are free to do whatever you want. But that guy dared to challenge you. He must have mastered the source skills at the beginning. What Li Yu could think of, Yang Xiaomi certainly thought of it. Don't worry, don't you know me yet? I also mastered the source skills, and there is absolutely no problem in dealing with him. After listening to Li Yu's words, although she was also curious about where he got the source skills from, Yang Xiaomi was not a person who asked questions, so she didn't take it to heart. Well, I'll wait and see if you continue to beat Wu Yiqian, Yang Xiaomi said with a smile. Speaking of Wu Yiqian, he is not a bad person, but he is just like a dog skin plaster, very annoying. So it is pleasant to see him being beaten. Although there are teachers watching at school, he can't beat him too hard. Yang Xiaomi and Li Yu were chattering together. Wu Yiqian, who was far away, looked envious and jealous. He didn't understand why Yang Xiaomi had such a good relationship with Li Yu. To be honest, there are many people pursuing Yang Xiaomi. Among them, there are many rich second generations and talented students, but Yang Xiaomei just likes Liu. You have to know that this is an era where strength is respected, and Liu's talent is not that good. Wu Yiqian completely misunderstood this. You have to know that those students who rank high in the school, including him, basically use a lot of resources to assist in cultivation. Even Yang Xiaomei's family would occasionally buy some resources such as medicines for her. Only Liu cultivated himself bit by bit. There is no way who made him an orphan, poor. But just when Wu Yiqian was looking at the other person with envy and jealousy, a small flying insect that was hard to see with the naked eye appeared silently in the training room. Then it went straight into Wu Yiqian's ear. Wu Yiqian's eyes widened immediately, and bloodshot spread in his eyes. Then dark patterns appeared on his face, as if half of a dark wing covered his face. Who? Wu Yiqian panted with a ferocious expression. Other students also noticed Wu Yiqian's abnormal reaction. Fuck. Wu Yiqian was parasitized by the magic roundworm. A sharp-eyed classmate instantly discovered the pattern on Wu Yiqian's face and shouted. Liu was also attracted by this sudden accident. The magic roundworm, as mentioned in the textbook. It is a kind of natural disaster of the lowest level. It specifically looks for people or animals with high negative emotions to parasitize. After parasitism, it will devour the source power in the host's body and make the host crazy. Of course, this kind of bug can only parasitize low-level source masters, and anyone with a little strength will not be exploited by it. Fuck, everyone stay away from him, run fast and call the teacher. For this level of natural disaster, the students are not panicked. After all, they have been educated in this area since childhood. The main reason is that the harm is not high. Wu Yiqian, with a ferocious face, roared and rushed towards Liu. Everyone stay away. People who are parasitized by the magic roundworm will have stronger strength and defense. Everyone knows this common sense. So facing Wu Yiqian, who went crazy, everyone began to disperse. As a practical training room, the space is naturally not small, so the crowd dispersed sparsely in an instant. Wu Yiqian's surroundings became a large open space. As for why they didn't run out, they can only say that this group of people purely planned to stay and watch the fun. They are all a little skilled, so they are naturally not afraid of this low-level disaster. When Liu saw Wu Yiqian going crazy, his eyes lit up instantly. Wu Yiqian, what are you doing? Liu shouted with an exaggerated expression. Then he went straight to Wu Yiqian. Heaven and Earth Zuanzang, the root of all ki, cultivate all calamities. Prove my supernatural power, inside and outside the three realms. Only Tao is supreme. The body is golden, covering my body. As Liu chanted the spell, a layer of dazzling golden light directly covered his body. Then he sped up and came in front of Wu Yi, punching him in the face. Boom. The fist covered with golden light hit the bridge of the opponent's nose directly. Wu Yiqian was directly hit back several steps by this punch. But obviously this punch made him fall into a stronger anger. With a roar, he punched Liu without any rules. Wu Yiqian, wake up, you can't be controlled by the devil worm. Liu's expression was unusually exaggerated. He shouted at the other party to wake up, but his kung fu did not stop at all, punching the other party in the face one after another. When did Liu become a 3-star and learn a source skill? I don't know, but this source skill looks fancy. I just don't know what level it is, and how powerful it is. I don't know the level, but the power is definitely not weak. Look at Wu Yiqian's face, it's deformed. Hiss, this bastard is quite ruthless. The classmates around him were no longer anxious when they saw that Wu Yiqian was subdued by Liu. They gathered together and became spectators. Swish. Liu dodged Wu Yiqian's kick by turning sideways and punched him in the face again. This grandson is quite thick-skinned. Liu looked at the other party's visible recovery speed, shook his hands and smiled. Then I may have to work harder. Chapter 6. I don't want to do that either. Under the parasitic state of the magic roundworm, the skin wound on Wu Yiqian's face recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Of course, this is also related to Liu's lack of heavy hands. After all, when the host's damage reaches the limit, the magic roundworm will abandon the host and escape. Therefore, people who are generally parasitized by the magic roundworm will not be in danger of life. It is others who are in danger. Whoosh. Under the blessing of the golden light spell, Liyu's speed is very fast. I saw golden light flashing around Wu Yiqian, and no one could hit Liyu. On the other hand, Wu Yiqian was beaten black and blue by Liyu. Fuck, Liyu is really a dog. This punch is aimed at the kidneys. After seeing that Wu Yiqian was easily defeated by Liyu's face riding output, the classmates around him were no longer in a hurry. They all ran to the corners, chose to stand there and eat melons and watch the show, and commented from time to time. I say you guys should stop just chatting and gossip. Who's going to get the class teacher? I really feel bad for attacking my classmate. As he spoke, Liyu's fist, which was covered with golden light, punched Wu Yiqian's face several times. Someone has already gone. A thin and tall male classmate at the corner of the wall said loudly. Then he muttered in a low voice, having said that, I don't see you feeling bad at all. That's right, I think he was quite happy to beat him. The curve of his mouth corners is harder to suppress than the source stone gun. Ha ha. Looking at Wu Yiqian, he was bleeding from his nose at this time, and his whole face was swollen like a pig's head. But even so, the madness in his eyes did not diminish at all. I guess the teacher will be here soon, so I'll give you some explosive news. Liyu thought to himself. Alas, it's really hard to remove the control of this demon worm. I'm sorry Wu Yiqian. I don't want to either. Liyu shouted with an exaggerated expression. I will never let you hurt other students. I understand that Liyu has no acting skills at all. The people around him were speechless when they saw Liyu's exaggerated acting skills. This guy obviously wanted to take the opportunity to beat Wu Yiqian up, and he said it so high-soundingly. If you were more serious, they would reluctantly believe it. Zzzz. In the next second, Liyu's golden light suddenly turned into dazzling lightning. Palm thunder. Boom. The dazzling power of thunder shot out directly from his palm. The next second, it directly hit Wu Yiqian's body. The powerful impact force directly caused Wu Yiqian's body to fly back 3 to 5 meters. The thunder burned the clothes on his chest, revealing a dark chest. Bang. Wu Yiqian's body twitched a few times. After landing on the ground, a small insect crawled out of his ear. With a whoosh, he rushed towards the students who were watching the excitement. Snap. A golden palm appeared and slapped the little bug directly onto the wall. The golden light took shape. Buzz. The little bug's wings kept shaking, trying to break free from the control of the golden light. This bug has a strong vitality. Liyu looked at the struggling demon roundworm. No matter how weak it was a natural disaster that was harmful to humans. It was definitely different from ordinary bugs. So, palm thunder. The next second, the thunder appeared again and hit the demon roundworm directly through the golden light. This time, Liyu didn't hold back. Under the attack of the thunder, the demon roundworm was directly carbonized and lost its life. At this time, 3 teachers also broke in. Where is the parasite? The teacher of the practical class walked in front and shouted as soon as he entered the door. But before he finished speaking, he was stunned. He stared blankly at the scene in front of him. After a moment, Wu Yiqian had been sent for treatment. I didn't expect it. Liyu, you are really good. Liu Qiang, the practical class teacher, patted Liyu on the shoulder. After listening to the descriptions of others, Liu Qiang really didn't expect that Liyu could actually solve Wu Yiqian, who was parasitized by the magic roundworm, in a short time. Although Wu Yiqian would only fight randomly after being parasitized. However, because of the characteristics of the magic roundworm, the host's defense and recovery ability will be greatly enhanced. If you want to solve the opponent in a short time, the comprehensive strength must at least reach the attack strength of the ghost level 1 star. Thinking of this, Liu Qiang couldn't help muttering in his heart, this kid's comprehensive level won't have reached the ghost level. This is the appearance of the top scholar. Liu didn't care what Liu Qiang was thinking at this time. Because when the magic roundworm was eliminated, a system prompt sounded in Liyu's ears. Eliminating the tiger level 2 star magic roundworm will reward 100 points. The prompt sound stunned Liyu on the spot. He didn't expect that there would be a point reward for eliminating natural disasters. I don't know if there will be rewards as long as other creatures are destroyed, or if it is only effective for natural disasters. Liyu's mind was no longer on the class at this moment. Ding. Only enemies of the world will get points rewards. The chat group system seemed to know Liu's thoughts and directly said the answer. Enemy of the world? Question mark? What is that? Anything that is harmful to the current world's protagonist race is an enemy of the world. For example, the giants in the giant world, the natural disasters in the current world, the evils of this world in the moon world, and the voids in the death world. Detect the protagonist race of the current world. Human, I understand. In a nutshell, it is the enemy of mankind. Not all the protagonists of the world are human. Liu said that it was not much different from the system's answer. After all, the protagonists of most worlds are human. The course continued. Without Wu Yiqian, it did not have much impact on the class. The only thing that had an impact was that in the entire practical class, no one asked Liu to be an opponent. After all, his strength had just been fully demonstrated. So Liu just watched others practice for the whole class. How bored he was. Finally, it was the next class. In the classroom, after the bell rang, Liu sat upright. With a creak, the classroom door was pushed open. Liu stared at the head teacher who walked in. I said, have you seen enough? Yang Xiaomui poked Liu's elbow helplessly. Little sister, have you seen the abyss? Yang Xiaomui frowned and pouted. I haven't seen the abyss, but I know that the abyss you are talking about is definitely not a serious thing. How can you say that? Because I saw the reflection of the abyss in your clear eyes. Yang Xiaomui followed Liu's line of sight and glanced at the hot female teacher on the podium. It seemed that the whole person was deeply trapped in it, lost in it, and shocked by the terrible abyss. TSK, you guys are really... Yang Xiaomui looked at Liu with contempt. Superficial. Really superficial. Aren't they just two lumps of burden? I can't see enough every day, and what's more, is she, Yang Xiaomui, worse? Although it's a now, but it will definitely grow again. Chapter 7. How about you start a harem? Bang. Everyone be quiet. Liang Yering, the head teacher, stood on the podium and threw a thick stack of test papers on the table. The large movement made a pair of magnificent things shake. Liu had to sigh that the wisdom of the ancients was not deceiving me, and the name of the head teacher was not wrong. It was indeed tolerant. I know that most of you are going to take the martial arts exam route, but this does not mean that you can take the cultural courses lightly. Liang Yering looked at the students under the podium with cold eyes. His fingers tapped the podium desks one by one. Cultural courses account for a small proportion of the martial arts exam, and there are no difficult questions. There are even many basic knowledge in the test questions. Even so, some students still fill in blindly. Liu, tell me how many realms the Source Master's cultivation is divided into. Liu's forehead was sweating instantly when he heard the head teacher's name. Well, now he knows who the head teacher called. That, the cultivation of Source Masters is divided into Tiger, Ghost, Mad, Extermination, Dragon, and God from low to high. Each level is divided into 3 stars, and the level of Source Masters is based on the comprehensive evaluation of Source Power, Source Skills, and Bloodline. Oh, Liang Yering raised an eyebrow. You don't remember this very clearly, but you didn't write it like this when you took the test. After hearing Liang Yering's words, the whole class knew who the head teacher was angry with. Yang Xiaomui, who was sitting at the same table, sighed and wondered what the hell this guy wrote to make the head teacher so angry. Come on, read your answers to the classmates. Liang Yering took out Liu's test paper and slapped it in front of him. Haha, then what about forgetting it? Liu was a little embarrassed. Don't forget it. Liang Yering said sarcastically. If you are embarrassed to read it, I will read it to you. Liang Yering grabbed the test paper. On the Source Star, the Source Master's cultivation is divided into 3 realms: ants, fellow Taoists, and seniors. Liang Yering glared at Liu. You are afraid that the teacher can't understand, so you are still writing annotations below, right? My generation of Source Masters who are weaker than me are all ants. People of the same realm should call each other fellow Taoists, and those of the stronger realm are all seniors. Good boy, you have a good grasp of the ways of the world. The head teacher's words made the whole class laugh. Come on, Liu, tell me, did you do this on purpose or accidentally? Liang Yering asked, holding Liu's test paper in his hand. That, I was deliberately careless. Liu said weakly. You are quite humorous, right? Liang Yuren was laughed at by Liu. Do you know that this is a cross-examination of the papers? The teachers of other classes really adapt to the situation when they see my student. Others think I taught it. When Liang Yuren said this, he slammed the desk, which shows how angry he was. After hearing what Liang Yuren said, Liu was also quite embarrassed. He originally wanted to play a bad joke, but he didn't expect that the examiners would know about it. You stand up and listen to this class. After Liang Yuren said this, it meant that the matter was over, but Liu had to stand up and listen to the whole class. In this way, Liu stood up and listened to the whole class. But then Liu became famous. One was the golden light curse that beat Wu Yiqian violently, and Liu's performance instantly made him the top student in the school. Then there was the so-called realm division, which instantly became popular in the whole school. After that, all the students in the school began to call each other Dao, and the dogs passing by had to be called ants. This made Liu laugh and cry, and the other class teachers were even more angry. This guy simply led the whole school astray with his own strength. As a result, Liang Yuren was so angry that he made him stand and listen to 2 classes again. After having a meal at Yang Xiaomo's house in the evening, Liu returned to his own home. I mentioned before that they are neighbors. Yang Xiaomo lives in Unit 3, and the house he rents is in Unit 2. In the past, according to Liu's habit, he would almost start practicing after returning home. But today is different. After returning home, Liu lay down on the bed and prepared to chat in the group. Practice? What is that? I have already opened it, so why should I practice? Open the chat group. At this time, Zhang Chulan, Kamaru and Ichigo Kurosaki were also chatting in the group. Liu, good evening, group friends. Your handsome group leader is back from school. Kamaru, huh? Is the group leader also a student? Liu, didn't I say that? I'm also a senior high school student. Ichigo Kurosaki, that's really surprising. Let's not talk about this for now. Ichigo Kurosaki, I don't know how much the group leader knows about the story of my world. I chatted with Kamaru before, and according to her, the death god in their world has only updated the timeline when we broke into the Hukomundo. Liu, oh, this matter, regarding this point, Bleach is already finished for me. The timeline has reached the point where you married in our Warheim, and the child Kurosaki Ichigo was born. Umaru-chan, wait, what did you say? The last household actually married Orihime? Question mark? Kurosaki Ichigo, hey, what does your reaction mean? Although I'm also shocked, why do I feel that you are more excited than me? Umaru-chan, isn't that natural? My Ichiru CP is broken. Woohoo, my CP is broken. Kurosaki Ichigo, wait, what the hell is Ichiru CP? Me and Rukia. What a joke. We are just friends. Umaru-chan, shut up. Ichiru is so compatible. Didn't I post the Soul Society chapter? You braved the Soul Society for Rukia, and the moment you blocked Bipolar, you were a perfect match. Kurosaki Ichigo, there are too many points to complain about, and I don't know where to start. Ichigo Kurosaki, not to mention that I just became a god of death not long ago. I went to save Rukia, and it was only because we are good friends. Please don't support everything, okay? Kamero, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. In Kamero's world, at this time, Kamero has turned into a hamster spirit, burying herself on the ground and rolling around. She kept shouting that my CP can't be broken, sign and so on. Ichigo Kurosaki looked at Kamero, who was throwing a tantrum in the chat group, and his mouth twitched. By the way, he took the time to take a look at Rukia in the cupboard. How should I put it? It's not impossible. Question mark? I didn't think about it in that direction before, but after Kamero forced me to form a CP, some small thoughts that I had never thought of began to emerge unconsciously. No. Ichigo Kurosaki blushed and shook his head. What was he thinking about? Damn it. I was led astray by that otaku girl. What's wrong? Ichigo? In the cupboard, Rukia, who was staring at her phone to search for the trace of hollow, asked curiously when she saw Kurosaki. Ichigo's face suddenly turned red, and he shook his head violently. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. we cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8. I don't want to write a title. No, nothing. I just feel a little hot all of a sudden. Ichigo Kurosaki stuttered back. He couldn't say that there was a otaku girl who was trying to get us together. I suddenly had a bold idea. As soon as I said this, the onion-headed girl in front of me would definitely kick me. Let's wash my face with a jade foot and reward myself. What the hell? Why is it the jade feet that wash the face? Hey, how could I have such an idea? Which idiot gave me this idea? Bah. Don't let your imagination run wild. Ichigo Kurosaki put his consciousness back on the chat group. Zangchulan, so this is what CP fans are. Liu, actually, I also support your Lu CP, but it's a pity that the two of them didn't make it in the end. Liu, this is simply too hard to accept, just like Sun Wukong didn't marry Bulma. Kalmero, that's right. Kalmero, why don't you go back and marry Rukia? Liu, the above person is too conservative. If it were me, I would open a harem. Anyway, your family is also a noble of the Siritari, so it's no problem to marry a few more wives. Liu, if it were me, Sister Yoruchi is also very good, and there is also Nal, and Rangaku is also very beautiful. Kalmero, Rangaku can't. Sister Rangaku must be with Jinko. Pure love is invincible. Liu, by the way, there are so many beauties in Soul Society, so does Ichigo really not consider opening a harem? Kurosaki Ichigo, shut up. Do you want me to be hacked to death? As soon as Ichigo Kurosaki returned to the chat group, he saw that Liu and Kalmero were actually talking about harem. What a joke. Seeing that the two of them were getting more and more off topic, Ichigo Kurosaki hurried to stop them. Liu, what are you afraid of? According to the routine of the youth comics, you are the protagonist and you are the strongest in the end. So what are you afraid of opening a harem? Kalmero, support. I strongly recommend that you push forward all the way, turn Soul Society into your harem, and take all the beautiful Shinigami into your harem. Kalmero is just watching the fun, and not minding the big things. Kurosaki Ichigo, shut up, you two. Do you want me to be burned to ashes by the captain? Damn it. Zangchulan, by the way, what's the matter with Kurosaki Ichigo being a noble in Soul Society? At this time, Zangchulan, who had been peeking at the screen, asked. Previously, Yumaru-chan uploaded all the comics he realized in Bleach from the beginning to the Soul Society chapter to the group sharing. So Zangchulan can be regarded as one of the readers, and therefore became curious about Ichigo Kurosaki's life experience. Liu, it means literally. In fact, Ishin Kurosaki was the captain of the Gotei 13 before, and his original name was Ishin Shiba. Liu, Kurosaki is the surname of Ichigo's mother, and his father is a son-in-law. Zangchulan, oh my god. So his father is a captain level figure? No wonder he is so talented. Yumaru-chan, the last name is Shiba? In other words, he is Shiba Kaku, Shiba Ganju and others? Liu, yes, they are cousins. Liu, Ishin Shiba was once the head of the Shiba branch family and the former captain of the 10th division. Liu, he is the uncle of Shiba Heian, Shiba Kaku and others, and now he has temporarily lost the power of the god of death. Zangchulan, so the three children and their family can see spirits, but he can't. Is it because he has lost the power of the god of death? Ichigo Kurosaki, so what happened that year that caused my father to lose his power as a god of death? Damn, if he is really the captain, then what happened to my mother back then? Liu, your mother is a pure-blooded Quincy, stronger than any ordinary captain. Do you think that little hollow has the ability to kill her? What? Ichigo Kurosaki's heart tightened when he saw this. His spiritual pressure became agitated uncontrollably. Having read the Soul Society arc, he certainly knew what a Quincy was. Although the timeline had not yet reached the time when Ishida Urayu competed with him, he had already known what a Quincy was through the comics. Ichigo? What's wrong with you? Looking at Ichigo Kurosaki, whose spiritual pressure suddenly became agitated, Rukia asked with wide eyes. Yes, I'm sorry. I suddenly thought of something bad. Looking at the nervous Rukia, Ichigo Kurosaki quickly calmed his agitated emotions and said, "Don't release your spiritual pressure casually, it will attract hollows." Looking at the calmed Kurosaki Ichigo, Rukia scolded softly, and then changed the subject, "But if you have anything on your mind, you can tell me. You are really sharp-tongued but kind-hearted." Looking at Rukia, Kurosaki Ichigo sighed in his heart. He certainly knew that, although Rukia often spoke to him in a scolding tone, she actually cared about him very much. Especially after that, she would go out alone, trying to lead away the pursuers of the Soul Society, preparing to take the responsibility for passing spiritual power to humans. This shows that Rukia has always been a guy with a hard mouth and a soft heart. Actually, my mother. Looking at Rukia, Kurosaki Ichigo unconsciously began to talk about his mother, Kurosaki Masaki, while telling Rukia the story of his mother. Kurosaki Ichigo put his consciousness on the chat group. Kurosaki Ichigo, Liu, please, tell me the truth of the matter. Liu, file, Liu, all the follow-up matters are here. If it weren't for Iwachi's separation, your mother could have dealt with a small hollow with one hand. Kurosaki Ichigo, thank you. Liu, I don't have anything to repay you now. If you need anything in the future, just tell me directly. I will definitely do my best. Liu, hey, it's all trivial. When you go to Soul Society later, I will go over to help you and buy two Asochi to play with. Just after saying this, Liu suddenly thought of someone. Liu, by the way, Urahara Kasuke. That old den will definitely be able to get Asochi. Ichigo, you can go there to get me a few. Asochi is the state before the Zanpakuto is released. The shape, state and ability of the Zanpakuto are built based on the soul of the god of death itself. The god of death gains power by knowing the name of the Zanpakuto given to him and having a spiritual dialogue with it. This is the Zanpakuto in the world of the god of death. And the initial form of the Zanpakuto is the same, all of which are the specifications of the Sakura Samurai sword. However, the shape, size, and ability of the sword after release will vary depending on each person's situation and personality. And Liu just happened to be eyeing the power of Zanpakuto. According to the function of the chat group, he can completely awaken a Zanpakuto. If he is lucky and awakens a powerful Zanpakuto, then his strength will definitely increase by leaps and bounds. After seeing Liu's words, Ichigo Kurosaki agreed without thinking. At the same time, he was also planning to contact Urahara Kasuke in advance. His current power of the god of death comes entirely from Rukia, and he needs to awaken his own power as soon as possible. So Ichigo Kurosaki made up his mind to become stronger. Kill that hollow first on the day of his mother's Memorial Day. Chapter 9 Age Spots. Ichigo. Suddenly, Rukia's cell phone messenger rang. This is a hollow appearing. Kurosaki Ichigo, that's it for now. A hollow has appeared here. Go and deal with it first. Just after Kurosaki Ichigo sent this message, his soul was knocked out of his body by Rukia. Hey, can't you be gentler? Ichigo, who was wearing a death suit, hugged his body from behind, slowly put it down and complained. No road race. Rukia's face turned proud and said, let's go. Then she jumped out of the window. Ichigo followed directly. In the chat group Zangchulan, Ichigo is really busy. Liu, after all, he is the protagonist. Funny. Liu, don't talk about him. How are you doing over there? Zangchulan, I have received an invitation from Ilyusha and Ajiro, and I'm now training with Sister Baoa, but speaking of which, I don't have enough points now. I don't know if there is any way to quickly improve my strength. Liu, speaking of this, I do have an idea. Liu, you can start with LV Liang. Contact him and tell him about Shuangquan Chao and LV Huan, so as to change the world line. Liu, from the introduction, the points gained in the chat group are to change the development of the world line, to make things happen in the future in advance, or postpone them, or directly change the fate of some important people. Liu, in this way, you can get a lot of points. Zangchulan, this is a good idea. According to the information you provided, LV Liang is different from Lei Yanpeo and others, and he is not hopeless. Zangchulan, after my strength is improved, I will directly break through Luotian Dajio and see who will call me Buyeo Billion. Lee Yu, based on your personality, I don't think you are reliable. You are just a jerk. If you show too strong, others will definitely think about the origin of Ki body. Lee Yu, I don't believe you can't think of this kind of thing, especially since Luotian Daijio is full of Quan Crossing spies. Lee Yu, I don't believe you will expose your strength to Quan Crossing. Karma, I don't think he will. Zhang Chulan, hehe, or should I say that you, the group leader, understand and invite me. Zhang Chulan was not embarrassed at all after being exposed. Zhang Chulan, anyway, the master will arrange everything in the end. I just need to save Master Shine at the critical moment. Lee Yu, why don't you care about your destined CP Lolinglang? Zhang Chulan, where did the destined CP come from? Don't make up rumors to fool me. Lee Yu, why should I fool you? You two are definitely the official match. Why don't you like Lolinglang? Such a cute girl. Lee Yu said with a lot of nonsense. Anyway, before he traveled through time, he said that the two were the official match, although only one TV series was updated. The comics did not give the correct result. But anyway, he believed it. It will have to be, when the time comes. Zhang Chulan, this. Can he say he doesn't like it? You know, this guy wants to get out of the single life so badly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been set up by someone to take him down at the beginning. Especially when he learned that Zhang Lingai was not a virgin. Well, that expression, like a woman in the boudoir. So, after knowing that he would be entangled with Lu Linglang in the future, Zhang Chulan said no, but he had already started to fantasize in his heart. Oh my. Sorry, brother Kanglong, I don't want to do this either, but who can blame me for being a hero and saving a beautiful girl in the future? Hehehehe. Zhang Chulan laughed obscenely. Bang. A bare foot directly hit his face. Puff. Zhang Chulan flew backwards. What are you doing? Sister Baoa, your smile is too disgusting. Feng Bao said expressionlessly in Sichuan dialect. Hurry up and take a rest, we still have to train tomorrow. Yes, yes. Zhang Chulan got up from the ground, rubbed his face and said. Then Zhang Chulan said in the chat group that he was going to sleep and good night, and then went offline. Lee Yu was also going to go offline to sleep, but the shocking result was that Uchiha Madara and Sabo, who had not spoken since joining the group, spoke. Sabo, that group owner, good evening. Uchiha Madara, humph, I admit that this chat group is quite interesting. Lee Yu, have you two finished observing these 2 days? As soon as Lee Yu saw the two people talking, he knew that they had been peeping at the screen for a long time and believed in the existence of the chat group. Uchiha Madara, the world of the heavens. I admit that this was beyond my expectations at the beginning. Sabo, yes, I was not sure at the beginning. After all, the matter was too incredible. Lee Yu, indeed, judging from the situation of the two of you, you regarded this thing as an illusion or the ability of the devil fruit at the beginning. Uchiha Madara, humph. Sure enough, you also know the story of our world. Lee Yu, ah, that's right, I do have the story of your two worlds. Uchiha Madara, I want to know what will happen in the future. Tell me your conditions. I, Uchiha Madara, will not ask for your information in vain. Lee Yu, how arrogant. Madara, I don't know what period you are in now. This way I can determine the timeline of your place. Lee Yu saw that Uchiha Madara spoke so arrogantly, so he naturally would not be polite to him. As for Uchiha Madara, since he has confirmed the authenticity of the chat group, his eyes will naturally not be entangled in the ninja world. But first of all, he has to realize his wish. Thinking of this, Uchiha Madara took a photo of himself using the chat group function and sent it to the group. Lee Yu took a look. Well, age spots. There are tubes inserted in his back, and he looks old and frail. Lee Yu, in this period, then, have you contacted Uchiha Obito, Madara? Uchiha Madara, that kid. White Zetsu did just rescue him. It seems that you really know this world. Lee Yu curled his lips. Isn't that nonsense? He has read all 3 major civilian comics. Especially the chat group invited all the characters in the Dead Fire Sea for the first time. It can be seen that there must be a lot of parallel worlds of these 3 IPs. Lee Yu, in this case, it is now before the main storyline begins. Lee Yu, then I won't be polite. I need the Shirama cells, Sharingan, and the ninjutsu you know. I will send you all the future things in one go. Lee Yu, believe me, you will definitely not lose out. There will be a big surprise waiting for you in the future information. Uchiha Madara looked at Liyu's words and began to think in his heart. There will be a big surprise in the future, which means that his plan should be successful and he will be resurrected in the future. But since it is a surprise, it must not be a good thing. Maybe there is an accident. And according to the previous conversation between Liu and them, every world will have a so-called protagonist. Just like the world of Death God, and under one person. The story revolves around Ichigo Kurosaki in Zangchulan. And what he is going to do, he admits that it is definitely not a good thing. He is not a good person either. So, the protagonist. Chapter 10 Sabo. Will the protagonist of this world go against him? Uchiha Madara thought of this instantly. The battle of ninjas is a battle of intelligence. Knowing the intelligence of the opponent will often greatly increase the chance of winning the battle, especially when the strength of both sides is equal. Don't you see, that 30 million was because of not knowing the intelligence of the opponent, which made Feiduan take off his head. So, Uchiha Madara did not hesitate at the moment. He sold a copy of the ninjutsu knowledge to the chat group first. He got some points. Although not much, but a mosquito is meat, no matter how small it is. Then let Beizetsu take out a bottle containing a pair of Sharingan. These are the eyes he collected as resurrection coins. Then there are Hashirama cells. Then he packed the ninjutsu knowledge and these two things together and sent a red envelope to Liu. Liu did not hesitate to upload the complete works of Naruto directly. After the transaction was completed, Uchiha Madara stopped talking. At this moment, it is more important to understand the future information. Karma, yoho. The complete works of Naruto. So great, Umaru-chan. I haven't finished updating Kishimoto yet. It's so great to be able to taste the complete works first. Liu. Kishimoto? Is the author of Naruto in your world called Kishimoto? Liu asked curiously, after seeing what Umaru-chan said. Umaru-chan. Yes. Kishimoto Hiroshi is the author of Naruto here. Liu. Oh, then the author here is a guy called Kishimoto. It seems that there are differences between individuals in different worlds. Liu. The world information captured by each world is not the same person. Umaru-chan. I roughly understand what you mean. According to what you said, the so-called author is influenced by the information of the parallel world, so that a flash of inspiration comes to his mind and creates the so-called work. Umaru-chan, and there are countless parallel worlds in the same world, such as Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist F. Umaru-chan, although it is the same worldview, it is two works, because of different development. Liu. Awesome. You are worthy of being an excellent student. That's probably the case. Umaru-chan. Ha 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 ha. Of course I'm super awesome. Liu. But then again, since your world also has these works, why not trade with Ichigo and the others? Umaru-chan. Umaru-chan is in the everyday world, so she shouldn't need these extraordinary powers. But your world is different, right? Umaru-chan. Judging from your behavior, your world is probably not very safe. So Liu, you need these powers even more. Liu didn't expect Umaru-chan to think this way. I didn't expect this little girl to be so smart, and she really needs these powers. Liu. Thank you very much, Umaru-chan. Umaru-chan. You're welcome. You're welcome. Liu. Just send me more good works in the future. It's best to send them to the end. Umaru-chan. You know, it's so painful to follow the updates. Liu. I feel the same way. Especially when some people play Mahjong while painting, and even worse, some people inherit the family business halfway through writing a novel. It's just too much. Sabo, Arnold. Just when the two were criticizing some irresponsible authors, our chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo finally interrupted weakly. Umaru-chan. Oh wow. The chief of staff has spoken. Liu. Good evening, chief of staff. Sabo, please don't make fun of me, chief of staff or something. Liu. Then Sabo, do you have anything to ask? Sabo, I want to know whether we will overthrow the rule of the celestial dragons in the future. After asking this question, Sabo was very uneasy. He was afraid that Liu would say to him that they failed, and in the future the cancer of the celestial dragons would still be domineering over ordinary people. Liu. This, I don't know too much, but it should be successful. After all, the destiny protagonist of this world is the son of your leader. By the way, what timeline is it now? Have you flown out to sea? Sabo, the son of the leader? Is he the destiny protagonist of this world? Does the leader have a son? And who is Luffy? But I feel familiar when I hear the name. Is he someone I know? Umaru-chan, I see. It seems that Sabo is still in a state of amnesia. Liu, it seems so. Sabo? Question mark? How did you judge? Because of that person named Luffy? As the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo's brain is not as reckless as Ace and Luffy. It is easy to infer useful information from Liu and others' words. Because I don't know Luffy, I infer that I haven't recovered my previous memories. In other words, is this person named Luffy related to my memory? Or will I recover my memory in the future and then know this guy named Luffy? Sabo looked at the content of the chat group and inferred in his heart. Liu, how should I put it? Monkey D. Luffy, the son of your leader, your sworn brother, when you were a child, and another brother named Portgas D. Ace. Liu, your future memory recovery is indeed related to your two brothers, but the ending is not very good. Liu, I will send you what I know, but I suggest you investigate Luffy's route first to see where he went, so as to confirm your timeline. Liu, it is recommended to proceed simultaneously. After speaking, Liu posted the plot before the 1GUO chapter of One Piece. There is no way that the animation was only updated to this before Liu traveled through time. The rest he read was comics. Sabo completely accepted Liu's suggestion. After all, he is a child who listens to advice. Well, it was mainly because Liu's words that the ending was not good scared him. Especially the throbbing from the heart after hearing the names of Ace and Luffy. So Sabo quickly arranged people and began to collect information about Luffy. Liu, by the way, Sabo, if you want to recover your memory quickly, I suggest you watch the Top War chapter first. Liu, after watching the Top War chapter, make up for the previous content. Karma, that's right, if you want to recover your memory, watching the Top War chapter is enough. Karma also suggested. Sabo is a man of action. Seeing the two people say so, he also guessed that there is important information in the so-called Top War chapter. Group sharing. Similarly, after selling the training method of domineering 4 points, Sabo upgraded the armed color domineering, the observation color domineering, and a series of physical training methods that he learned for free. Sabo, I don't know if you can learn domineering in your world. I put the training method of domineering in the group sharing. Liu, the skills shared by group members can be learned 100% if you spend points to learn them. Liu, it's just that the points will be spent to different extents according to your own situation. Sabo, is that so? I'm relieved then. Sabo, then good night everyone. I won't say much. Sabo, thank you again, both of you. If you need any help in the future, I will definitely do my best. Chapter 11 Fusion. Liu, as expected of Sabo, he is really polite. Umaru-chan, hahaha, he is from an aristocratic family. Liu, that's it. Umaru-chan, good night too. Seeing that everyone is going to catch up on the anime, Liu is not in the group. He said hello and prepared to log off. But before logging off, he took the red envelope from Uchiha Madara. Liu probably can use the knowledge of ninjutsu directly. The source power can completely replace the effect of chakra. As for the Sharingan, there are also Hashirama cells. I can only save them first and ask the chat group to help merge them when I have points. These two things have stronger repulsion than each other. When people other than Uchiha merge the Sharingan, it will be like a 50-50 split, and there is no way to close it freely. And Hashirama cells, not to mention, among so many experimental subjects, only Yamato survived. But these two things are also very strong. After all, Liu also has a wish to drive a Gundam. When I get the Susanoo Buddha, I will not eat beef either. Liu thought fiercely as he looked at the two things that could not be used for the time being. But the prompt sound from the chat group startled Liu. Bloodline items detected, a pair of Sharingan, Hashirama cells. The host's special physique can be perfectly integrated. Do you want to integrate? Fuck. Liu was shocked. I have a special physique? Why don't I know it myself? On the source star, some people have special bloodlines in their bodies. Once some of the bloodlines hidden deep in the body awaken, the strength of these people will be greatly improved. The host's physique can perfectly integrate all bloodlines, and it will not appear before integrating other bloodlines. Just when Liu was curious about what special bloodline he had in his body, the system gave an explanation. Oh my god. This is too strong. First of all, not to mention the local ones, there are countless powerful bloodlines in the heavens and the world. If his physique can be perfectly integrated, then his future achievements will definitely be limitless. Fusion. After understanding, Liu directly chose to integrate. Then Liu only felt a sudden stinging sensation in his eyes. But he felt warm on his body. The two feelings pulled each other. Until it lasted for about 10 minutes. The two feelings returned to calm. After Liu took a long breath, he began to feel the changes in himself. Xiaolingan. Liu chuckled very second-rately, and then 3 Magatama appeared in his eyes and spun around. Uchiha Madara is really nice, and gave me a pair of 3 Magatama Sharingan directly. Liu nodded and said, but thinking back, Uchiha Madara probably only had 3 Magatama Sharingan, because he didn't like the 1 and 2 Magatama Sharingan. I remember in the original anime, after Uchiha Madara gave Nagato the Samsara, when he saw Obito, the Sharingan in his eyes was 3 Magatama. It is estimated that after the transplant, a pair of ordinary Uchiha people's Sharingan was found and installed. After all, this thing has always been ridiculed by netizens as a plug and play. So it is estimated that Uchiha Madara has a lot of inventory. Then Liu opened his personal panel again. Name, Liu source level, Tiger, X, bloodline quality, Sage body, crazy, Sharingan, crazy, source skills, basic breathing method, Tiger, golden light curse, ghost, Yang 5 thunder, ghost ninja, comprehensive level. Ghost Liu looked at his panel and nodded to show that he was quite satisfied. I just didn't expect that just a little bit of Hashirama cells would directly awaken the Sage body. The same is the fusion of Hashirama cells. Just look at the infrastructure maniac, Konoha real estate tycoon, Yamato, and you will know. Yamato can only use a little bit of wood release, which is far worse than Obito. So the Hashirama cells still depend on adaptability. Different individuals have different effects after transplantation, and Liu's physique can be perfectly integrated. That's why the Sage body was awakened directly. This is Liu's guess. Feeling the source power that is at least 10 times stronger than before, Liu said that he no longer has to worry about the mana. Why is the only level displayed the Tiger X level? Liu estimated that it was because his source power was more than 10 times that of the Tiger level. However, if you want to break through the Tiger level and reach the Ghost level, you need to master the art of alchemy. That is, the subsequent exercises. The early breathing method accumulates source power in the body. When the source power accumulates to a certain level, the subsequent exercises are used to make the source power form a pill. The source pill is formed in the body, and then until the level is destroyed, it is the process of practicing the source pill. Therefore, the exercises at this stage are also called alchemy. Of course, alchemy also has high and low levels. The quality of the exercises affects the quality of the source pill and the speed of practice. If you want to obtain alchemy, you can either purchase the exercises that have been circulated on the market, or go to university to study. Generally speaking, there is basically nothing good about the exercises that have been circulated on the market, and good things will not appear in the mass market. Advanced cultivation exercises are either mastered by large families, or in the hands of the country, or in advanced institutions. In fact, many institutions are the remnants of various sects in the past. It's just that they have been changed to the form of universities. Generally, the cultivation techniques collected in second and third-rate universities are only slightly better than those on the market. The better ones are in first-tier universities. As for high-end cultivation techniques, they are all collected in key universities. For example, Luhai's Fujian University, Longjing, BK, Yuanwu, etc. in Beijing. It is said that the top 10 famous universities all have a technique of dragon level quality. In the past, Liu's goal could only be a second-tier university, but now it is different. His goal is the top technique in the top 10 universities. So even if his source power is more than 10 times that of the Tiger level, he will not settle for an ordinary technique to form a pill. His most ideal goal is Longjing University in Beijing. Among the top 10 universities, Langjing University has always been ranked first. BK University occasionally ranks first, but always ranks last. According to gossip sources, Langjing University has 5 dragon level techniques. Other universities only have 2 or 3. Of course, not everyone can practice the top techniques, and it also depends on talent and qualifications. However, if you have 2 or 3 more techniques than others, you will naturally have more choices. As for BK University, which has a big gap between the upper and lower limits, it is because it is said that BK University has 2 dragon level skills. One of them is said to be the strongest alchemy, but the training conditions are extremely harsh. Once a suitable person appears, he can basically rub against other universities at will. It is said that a suitable person appeared 20 years ago. The awakened bloodline is the six-eared macaque. At that time, this person was very powerful in the Alliance martial arts competition. He hit his peers on the head alone. It was so cruel. Chapter 12. It's just an ordinary black cat. But there has not been a suitable candidate in the 20 years since then. Without knowing the specific situation, Li Yu did not dare to make a rash choice. So Li Yu's first choice is Langjing, but if he can match the strongest technique, it would be the best. Feeling the changes in himself, Li Yu nodded with satisfaction. He felt that under the current situation, he still had the confidence to compete for the top scholar of this year's martial arts exam. The 10 major universities all have at least 2 dragon level techniques, and some key universities also have something at the bottom of the box. Although some families also have crazy level or even extinction level techniques. But these are all backup options. What if they can match the dragon level techniques? Who is not a gambler? So before the martial arts exam, even the children of big families rarely choose to form a pill. Everyone wants to try that little chance. Li Yu understands this idea, just like the lottery in the previous life. Knowing that the chance is slim, so many people still go all out. High qualified people, whether they have channels or not, want to gamble on the highest chance. Even if they are not dragon level, they have extinction and crazy level options. So most people will choose to form a pill after college. With only ordinary qualifications, he can't meet the requirements of forming a pill. So, feeling the strong source of power in his body, and the diverse means, Li Yu said, the advantage is mine. Sleep. Li Yu slept. But Uchiha Madara in the Naruto world and Sabo in the pirate world couldn't sleep. In today's words, the two of them started to catch up with the anime crazily. They started watching from the first episode. Then they didn't sleep all night. Sabo. Yo Curler. Sabo greeted Curler with a listless face and yawned loudly. The Revolutionary Army base in the pirate world. Curler just came to find Sabo and saw the dark circles under his eyes from not sleeping all night. Well, it was already noon the next day, which means that Sabo not only didn't sleep all night, but also seriously caught up with the anime the next day. Modern cultivators have to give a thumbs up after seeing this. Looking at Sabo, who seemed to be rewarding himself too much, Curler's expression was a little bit unbearable. Sabo, explain to me what you were doing last night. After saying that, Korra stretched out his hands to Sabo's face, and then, bullshit. On the contrary, the elderly Madara was not so anxious at this time. Because Obito, the brat, was still in a coma. So there was no hurry. After all, it was not good for the elderly to stay up late to practice Taoism. So just make up for it slowly. Let's look at Ichigo. After school, he came to Urahara Kisuke's store. Oh. Urahara Kisuke looked at Kurosaki Ichigo in surprise. How could this kid appear here? Although surprised, Urahara Kisuke, the 6th old man, would not change his expression. He was seen covering the lower half of his face with a folding fan, squinting his eyes and smiling. I don't know what goods the little brother needs to buy in the store. Don't pretend, Mr. Urahara. Ichigo waved his hand at Urahara Kisuke and said, you obviously know me. Urahara Kisuke was shocked by Ichigo's straightforwardness. How come this kid seems to know a lot of things? Brother, you are joking. This is the first time we met. How could I know you? Although he had many questions in his mind, Urahara Kisuke remained calm on the surface and tried his best to play dumb. Anyway, he just refused to admit it. Urahara Kisuke's IQ was so high that he knew that Ichigo must have something to do with him. But no matter what it was, He would not take the initiative and would mainly play a passive counterattack. Kurosaki Ichigo breathed a sigh of relief. He naturally knew that the old man in front of him would definitely not show his eagle until he saw the rabbit. So, I know a lot of things, Mr. Urahara, Aizen, the masked army, my father, and sister Yaruchi. At the end of his speech, Kurosaki Ichigo looked at a black cat in the corner. The black cat was lying there lazily licking its fur, unmoved at all. Urahara Kisuke suddenly couldn't help laughing. Hey, why are you laughing? Damn it. Kurosaki Ichigo's serious expression suddenly couldn't be held back. Although I don't know why you know so many things, I don't think I should told you, but Urahara Kisuke pointed at the black cat and said with a smile, Mr. Yaruchi is not at home. That's an ordinary black cat. Ah. Kurosaki Ichigo looked a little confused. Ha 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 ha. Although I don't know where you got the news from, it seems that you can't tell the difference between the black cat, transformed by Mr. Yaruchi, and the ordinary black cat. At this time, the black cat in the corner also meowed at the right time. Instantly let Kurosaki Ichigo break his defense. Hey, don't laugh, you idiot. Thinking about how he just called Yaruchi's sister in front of Urahara Kisuke with a serious face, Kurosaki Ichigo just wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Then let's talk about business. Kurosaki-san, where did you get this information? If you don't explain it clearly, even if you are Aishin's son, then today, at the last word, a pressure came to Urahara Kisuke. If I say I see the future, will Mr. Urahara believe it? Inside Urahara's store, Kurosaki Ichigo sat cross-legged on the ground, said seriously to Urahara Kisuke, oh no, this kind of joke is not funny at all. At this time, Urahara Kisuke also put away his usual playful expression. I'm not kidding. Kurosaki Ichigo said with a serious expression, I saw the future, and I got a lot of information from the future information. For example, Urahara, you have hidden the Houjoku in Rukia's body now. But Aizen's target is the Houjoku in Rukia's body. Aizen's ability is to control the 5 senses and completely hypnotize. Anyone who has seen his Zanpakuto released will be affected by the Kyokusu Jetsu. He will kill the central 46 chambers and issue an order for the Soul Society to arrest Rukia. So Mr. Urahara, your plan is useless. As he spoke, Kurosaki Ichigo's expression suddenly became wrong. No. Bang. Mr. Urahara, your plan is to let Aizen get the Houjoku, right? So that Aizen will be exposed to the Soul Society and the truth of the year will come to light. Ichigo Kurosaki is not stupid, he just didn't think deeply about it at first. You know, in the Fullbring chapter, he had guessed Yukitake Jashiro's intention through the abnormality of the proxy certificate. Ichigo Kurosaki is not stupid, so when he thought deeply about it again, he found out. According to Urahara Kisuke's wisdom, why did he hide the Houjoku on Rukia? Although Rukia was given a special artificial body, so that her spiritual pressure could not be restored, and she could not return to the Soul Society, but Rukia is Byakuya's sister. How could no one care if she lost contact for a long time? Especially Rukia is a member of the team of the good old Captain Yukitake Jashiro. How could he ignore it? In other words, it is impossible for Rukia not to return to the Soul Society. How could he not think of it? Chapter 13 You have such a dirty heart. So, this matter is completely untenable with Urahara Kisuke's intelligence. If he really wants to hide the Houjoku, it would be more appropriate to find a place in the world to seal it. If he finds a place where no one is to set up a seal and tells no one, the world is so big, where can he find it? Aizen. So all this is intentional by Urahara Kisuke. And Aizen, Urahara Kisuke's purpose is probably seen through at a glance. The reason why he used the trick is because he felt that the power he had accumulated was enough. He can turn the table with the Soul Society. Both of them know each other's purpose. But both of them have the confidence to defeat each other. They will think they are the final winners. Damn it. People with high IQs have dirty hearts. As for this point, Liu said that this is just the beginning. If you know a guy named Chuzuan, you will know how dirty the heart of a wise man can be. After reviewing it, Ichigo Kurosaki finally figured it out. TSK, are you smart people so dirty in your hearts? Ichigo Kurosaki said with a sneer. Ah, Mr. Kurosaki, I don't understand what you are saying. Urahara Kisuke was still playing dumb. Okay, Mr. Urahara, I've made my word so clear, you don't have to play dumb anymore. Kurosaki Ichigo waved his hand. I came here to ask for your help this time. Oh. Urahara Kisuke narrowed his eyes and signaled you to continue talking, and I will just listen. I need you to help me guide my own power of the god of death. In the future I saw, Byakuya Kuchiki and Ringia Bere came to the human world to capture Rukia. He used the flash flower to pierce my lock knot and soul sleep, and you helped me guide my own power of the god of death, as well as my Zanpakuto, so I have to start training to become stronger in advance. Then, Mr. Kurosaki, can you tell me in detail about the future you saw? There's nothing I can't tell you. Kurosaki Ichigo told Urahara Kisuke about the future. It started from the Soul Society arc to defeating Aizen. So Aizen's real goal is the Soul King. Urahara Kisuke began to think. I have learned too much information from Kurosaki Ichigo. This greatly improves the chances of winning for Urahara Kisuke. If he felt that the decisive battle with Aizen was 50-50 before, now he has an 80% chance. As for why it is not 10%, you should know that he has defeated Aizen in the future that Kurosaki Ichigo saw. Because Urahara Kisuke knows that after Kurosaki Ichigo saw the future for some reason, the so-called future has changed. This is the so-called butterfly effect. The future is not immutable. Whether it will get better or worse, no one can predict. However, since he knows so much information about the opponent in advance, if he can still turn over, then Urahara Kisuke is too low. Well, it turns out that Ichimarujin was undercover for Aizen for Rangaku. If Tozen goes all the way, the ability of the 10 blades and the ability of an Aurahime will awaken in the future. These information are all very important. Hey Mr. Yoruchi, what do you think I believe what he said? Yoruchi, who was pretending to be an ordinary black cat next to him, suddenly spoke. Huh? Kurosaki Ichigo was startled. Sister Yoruchi, you are not. Oh my, there are no ordinary black cats in Urahara shot. And Yoruchi licked his cat paw and teased. He just wanted to test whether you can distinguish the difference between me and ordinary creatures. Sure enough, Mr. Kurosaki's perception of spiritual pressure is terrible. Although Mr. Yoruchi's spiritual pressure is deeply hidden in the black cat form, unlike ordinary animals, it still has a very weak spiritual pressure. Are you kidding me? Bastard. Kurosaki Ichigo was so angry that he wanted to kick him in the face. No wonder Captain Soifeng is so dissatisfied with him. It's simply, oh. Urahara Kisuke covered his mouth with a folding fan and laughed. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. It's just a joke. But, Urahara Kisuke changed the subject. Mr. Kurosaki, you are ready, right? If you have seen the future, you should know that my training is very hard, and it is very likely that people will die. I have been ready for a long time. Kurosaki Ichigo said solemnly. Then you should know what you are going to face next. I will make you lose the power of the god of death first. I understand. Kurosaki Ichigo nodded seriously. Come on, I'm ready. Bang. Urahara Kisuke's crutches poked Kurosaki Ichigo's forehead and directly knocked the opponent's soul out of his body and turned into the state of the god of death. Don't worry, my sword is very fast, Mr. Kurosaki, just bear with it. Kurosaki Ichigo only heard this sentence and then felt a pain in his body. Puff. The lock knot and the soul sleep were instantly pierced by Urahara Kisuke. Soul. It hurts so much. Slightly change the world process and reward 50,000 points. This was the prompt from the chat group that Ichigo Kurosaki heard before he fell into a coma. Oh wow, you are so gentle, Kisuke. Wuling Tessei was treating Ichigo Kurosaki on the side. Yoruchi said on the side, in order to speed up his coma, did you use anesthetics? I remember there was that kind of anesthetic in the original work, but I forgot what it was called, so let's just call it anesthetics. It doesn't matter anyway. Well, after all, Mr. Kurosaki is just a child. To be honest, it's too much for us to put our hopes on him. If we can make him suffer less pain. In the original timeline, after Byakuya Kuchiki pierced Ichigo Kurosaki's lock and soul sleep, the other party did not fall into a coma. Instead, Ichigo Kurosaki lay on the ground waiting to die until Kisuke Urahara came to rescue. I'll call Mr. Kurosaki first to explain the situation. Kisuke Urahara waved to Yoruchi. Huh. Yoruchi didn't react for a moment, and then he said after a moment of stunned silence, "Can't you just call Aishin by his name? You have such a weird habit." Oh, that won't do." A strange laugh came from the corridor from Urahara Kisuke. Someone is counting on this nonsense. The next day, Kurosaki Ichigo woke up. He opened his eyes and rubbed his dizzy head. Oops. Kurosaki Ichigo shuddered when he came to his senses. "I was so busy here that I forgot about home. I haven't told my dad yet." Swoosh. The door was opened. Urahara Kisuke stood at the door. "I have already called Mr. Kurosaki about this and explained the reason on the phone. Mr. Kurosaki, you can live here directly for the next few days. Mr. Kurosaki has already asked for leave for you at school. Hey, can't you call me and my dad separately?" "I refuse." Urahara Kisuke smiled and said, "If you are ready, come with me. The next training is about to begin." Chapter 14. They are Zanyu. Oh my. What is this? There is such a huge hole under this store. In the underground secret base of Urahara's store. The few people who just came down, Urahara Kisuke wanted to show off, to help Ichigo Kurosaki surprise. As soon as he opened his mouth, Ichigo Kurosaki said what he wanted to say in a very calm tone and expressionless face. "You don't need to help me be surprised. I can do it myself." Hey, your tone doesn't look surprised at all." Urahara Kisuke's mouth twitched. It was completely expected. This time Yoruchi also came down to watch the fun. After all, now she doesn't have to train Chad Yasutora and Inaora Harem. In this case, you should know what the next training is. Come on, I'm ready. Looking at the calm Ichigo Kurosaki, Urahara Kisuke knocked his soul out of his body with a cane. Looking at the fully armed Zayaro, Ichigo Kurosaki, who has become an ordinary soul, naturally knows what the next training is. In the normal soul state, I must avoid Zayaro's attack and regain my spiritual power in an instant. Come on, Zayaro. Ichigo Kurosaki, wearing protective gear, looked at Zayaro with a firm gaze. This time he will not run away in a panic. He has a reason to become stronger. Facing a strong enemy, keep getting stronger. Oh good eyes. Whoosh. Zayaro's fist made a sharp sound of breaking through the air. With this force, if you get hit. But I can see it. Whoosh. With a sideways movement, Ichigo Kurosaki narrowly avoided Zayaro's fist. But the next moment, Zayaro's attack came like a storm. So fast. Ichigo Kurosaki stared at Zayaro's fist with full concentration, not daring to lose his focus at all. Otherwise, the attack would fall on his face in the next second. You actually dodged the first attack. What a genius. Yoruchi shook his tail beside him. You are worthy of being their son. Okay. Good performance. Stop. Whoosh. Zayaro's fist stopped in front of Kurosaki Ichigo's face, and the strong wind from the fist directly messed up his hair. Hoo Kurosaki Ichigo panted. 15 minutes. Kurosaki Ichigo, in his ordinary soul state, lasted 15 minutes under the attack of Zayaro, who had the strength comparable to that of a god of death. It's really unexpected. Urahara Kisuke stood in front of Kuroki, who had already sat on the ground tiredly. I would have passed if I had dodged the first attack, but I didn't expect you to last 15 minutes. Of course. Kurosaki Ichigo lowered his head. How can I change the future if I can't do this? Good determination. Then let's start the next stage. Come on, Uncle Tessay. Bang. Out of nowhere, there was a loud bang, and Wuling Tessay made a brilliant appearance. Wuling Tessay, who fell from the sky, chopped off the causal chain on Kurosaki Ichigo's chest with an axe. There was no surprise at all. So, where is the pit that Zayaro dug? I can just jump in by myself. Kurosaki Ichigo stood up calmly. Oh, it seems that you are not worried about failure at all. Urahara Kisuke looked at Kurosaki Ichigo and smiled. Is it because your success in the future gave you confidence? No. Kurosaki Ichigo shook his head. I know that the future is not immutable. I'm not worried, because I have seen the future. It is because I have reasons not to fail, and I must do it. If I fail, it will only prove that I'm just a man like that. Kurosaki Ichigo said as he walked to the deep pit dug by Zayaro and jumped in. 99 seals of binding path. Wuling Tessay directly put a seal on Kurosaki Ichigo. Although you must know it very well, I still have to make it clear that, if you fail and become a hollow, I will kill you directly. Urahara Kisuke said with his head exposed on the edge of the pit. If I really fail, I'll leave it to you. After that, Kurosaki Ichigo straightened his posture and sat cross-legged. He knew that the key point this time was in his heart. He had to find his own power of death under the guidance of Zangetsu. But, opening the chat group panel, Kurosaki Ichigo looked at his points balance 50,856. 50,000 points are because of the plot change, and more than 800 points are the points that Kurosaki Ichigo usually gets for purifying hollows. Strengthen. Kurosaki Ichigo went all in and strengthened himself. Suddenly, a strong spiritual pressure erupted on Kurosaki Ichigo. This spiritual pressure. Urahara Kisuke was stunned. The spiritual pressure erupting from Kurosaki Ichigo now is no worse than that of an ordinary vice captain. This kid's talent is too amazing. Although I know that as the son of Kurosaki Masaki and Kurosaki Aishin, his talent and potential are very strong, but this is too terrifying. In the Soul Society, who wants to become a vice captain has not experienced 100 years of polishing. As a result, Kurosaki Ichigo, this kid, can erupt with spiritual pressure comparable to that of a vice captain in just half a month after awakening the Shinigami. It's simply, The spiritual pressure is still growing. Kurosaki Ichigo felt the power gushing out of his body, and his mind gradually settled. The chat group's 50,000 point enhancement can only be said to be an introduction, because Kurosaki Ichigo himself has great potential. The first pure-blooded Quincy in history, plus the blood of the captain level from the 4 major families of Soul Society, and the power of the Hollow, the 3 are combined into one. It is not possible to fully transform such a huge potential into combat power overnight. However, with the enhancement of the chat group system, it is still possible to guide more potential at the moment of awakening. So with the outbreak of spiritual pressure, Kurosaki Ichigo's mind gradually came to the depths of his soul. High-rise buildings are everywhere. A man in black stands in the sky, standing straight. Ichigo, you are finally here. Zangetsu looked at Kurosaki Ichigo with a complicated expression. He was born with Kurosaki Ichigo's soul, and he knows everything Kurosaki Ichigo knows. Then came Ichigo Shiro. Should we say it's our first meeting, or it's been a long time? Zangetsu. In the sky, Kurosaki Ichigo, Shiro Ichigo, and Zangetsu stood in a triangle. TSK. Kyobaku smacked his lips in an unpleasant way. Hey, you have a weird personality. You're such a talkative person. It turns out that these two people have incompatible personalities, and this is what happens when they meet. In the future, when learning the final Jutsuga Tensho, Zangetsu and Kyobaku merged, and they were both Zangetsu. In the future, Kyobaku, who has a weird personality, also admitted that his purpose was to protect Kurosaki Ichigo. He and Zangetsu were both born because of Kurosaki Ichigo. They are Zangetsu. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, The First Time Traveling. Already signed. Please collect and recommend. Ichigo's spiritual pressure is still erupting. And as his spiritual pressure erupts, the causal chain on his chest is also being eroded rapidly. How could this happen? Logically, he has 72 hours. Wuling Tessei looked at Ichigo Kurosaki, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Urahara Kisuke knew what was going on, because Ichigo had explained it to him clearly before the special training. Ichigo Kurosaki's consciousness had already awakened before his body woke up, but the effect of the anesthetic had not yet worn off, so he was in a state where he could not open his eyes. He also took this opportunity to finish reading the 1000-Year Blood War. He also had a rough idea of the source of his own power. First of all, the White Hollow is the embodiment of the power of the Hollow, and the Uncle Zangetsu is the embodiment of the power of the Quincy, and he represents the power of the God of Death. You are me, and I'm you. The 3 are inseparable. So his awakening is destined to be accompanied by the power of the Hollow. Regardless of whether it is Urahara Kisuke's rhetoric, what causal chain will become a Hollow after it is completely eroded? As long as he awakens his own power, the suppressed power of the hollow will also awaken. Kurosaki Ichigo had already told Urahara Kisuke about this, so he was not in a hurry. If he falls into a rampage, Tessei will set up a barrier first. Although his spiritual pressure is manic, it is not disordered. Okay. Just as Tessei was about to set up the barrier, I saw the chain on Kurosaki Ichigo's chest suddenly shattered in the deep pit. Then the whole body turned into a meteor and shot out. With a thud, it fell behind everyone. The smoke dissipated, and Ichigo Kurosaki was seen in a death suit, with a hollow mask on his face and a huge Zanpakuto with an exaggerated shape on his back. Yo, I seem to have succeeded. Kurosaki Ichigo spoke with an emphasis, and the mask shattered in the next second. Have you mastered the hollow? Urahara Kisuke said in surprise. Only 1.5 seconds, Kurosaki Ichigo said. According to the white hollow, the power of the hollow is very manic. Now Ichigo Kurosaki can only use 1.5 seconds to launch a strike at most, and he will fall into a rampage after a long time. Now Ichigo Kurosaki naturally knows that the idea of snatching a body is nonsense. Hollow white is the result of his own power. He and Zangetsu are one. It's just that in the future, one of them is white-faced and the other is red-faced, helping him to improve his strength. What king and mount? Among the three people, Ichigo Kurosaki has always been the king. It's amazing, Mr. Kurosaki. I didn't expect that it only took 5 hours to complete the second stage of training. Urahara Kisuke clapped his hands and laughed. Oh, it seems not right. Did Mr. Kurosaki complete the third stage of training by the way? Looking at the unique Zanpakuto behind Ichigo Kurosaki, Kisuke Urahara asked, is this your Zanpakuto? Looking at the Zanpakuto wrapped in bandages, Kisuke Urahara's eyes were full of curiosity. Ichigo Kurosaki put his hand on the hilt. Thanks to Mr. Urahara, I have mastered my own Zanpakuto, Zangetsu. As Ichigo Kurosaki spoke, the bandages on Zangetsu began to fall apart. So it's time to enter the fourth stage of training, Mr. Urahara. Practical training. Whoosh. Kurosaki Ichigo held the bandage on the handle of the Zangetsu and threw it out with great force. This is the use of the white cloud, and now he has learned it thoroughly. Bang. Urahara Kisuke quickly pulled out the red princess to block Zangetsu. Hey, Mr. Kurosaki, are you serious? Stop talking nonsense. I've been wanting to chop you for a long time. Just stand still and chop me. Pulling Zangetsu back, Kurosaki Ichigo rushed up with the knife. Looking at Liu, 3 days have passed. Except when Kurosaki Ichigo changed the course of the world, because he was indirectly involved, he was given 10,000 points. Nothing big has happened these days. It's still a straight line from school to school every day. In the chat group, except for Zangchulan and Kamero who are still in the chat group these 2 days, Kurosaki Ichigo, Uchiha Madara, and Sabo haven't talked much. In the chat group, Kamero, it's so boring, so boring. No one has talked in the chat group in recent days. Kama, so when will Liu have new members join? Liu, I don't know either. People are recruited randomly, and I don't know when I can recruit more people. Uchiha Madara, at LIU, I have a cooperation here. Would you like to consider it? Liu? Question mark? Uchiha Madara, I have read the entire Naruto, and I didn't expect that Black Zetsu would dare to lie to me. Liu, so. Uchiha Madara, so I want to seal Black Zetsu in advance, but my body is already difficult to move now, so I want to ask you for help. Uchiha Madara, this will definitely earn a lot of points. I don't think you will refuse. Liu, so you changed your plan? Uchiha Madara, humph, since the Moon Eye plan doesn't work, then I will unify the ninja world in the future. Uchiha Madara, things like Boruto should be strangled in the cradle. Liu, so what is your plan? Uchiha Madara, first of all, I would like to ask you to seal Black Zetsu first, and then take back the Samurai from Nagato. I want to give you the Samurai for safekeeping, and resurrect me at the critical moment. Uchiha Madara, regarding the future plan, I want to make a decision after I get the Samurai back. After reading Uchiha Madara's words, Liu was shocked. Madara-sama no longer plans the Moon Eye plan, but changes to the unified flow. It seems that he will have to fight against Otsutsuki. Liu, if it weren't for Madara-sama, do you trust me so much? And give me the Samurai? Uchiha Madara, hum 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 hum, ha 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 ha. Liyu's mind was automatically equipped with an emoticon pack of the Uchiha full laughing heroes. Uchiha Madara, you will definitely stand on my side. The two of us will cooperate and vigorously change the timeline. Then we will both get huge points. Uchiha Madara, we are not from the same world. There will be no conflict of interest, and you will not be bad for me, because then you will lose the trust of future group members. After reading Uchiha Madara's words, Liu fell into deep thought. I have to say that what he said is very right. Even if you only participate indirectly in changing the world line, there will be activity rewards. Even Komari told him that she got 1000 points. After Liu thought about it, Liu, okay, I agree. Liu, then should I go there now? Uchiha Madara, it's better to be as soon as possible. I have given the order and Black Zetsu will be back soon. Liu, okay. Liu opened the function options of the chat group. The group owner has 3 opportunities every month to travel to the world of group members. After the travel, the local time flow speed will slow down. The world is different from the world, and the time flow speed is also different. Do you want to travel to the world of group member Uchiha Madara? After the travel, the time flow speed is 1:100. After the travel, the group owner can return at any time. Yes/no. Chapter 16 Black Zetsu, I have something to tell you from the bottom of my heart. Please read and collect new books. It is easy to raise young seedlings. After choosing yes, an option appeared in the chat group again. Please choose the landing place, 20 meters around the group members, or within 10 kilometers of the random main characters in the current world, or a random place in the current world. Wow, it's quite humane. Liu looked at the 3 options and decisively chose the first point. In the ninja world, Uchiha Madara also received a prompt. The group owner of the dimensional chat group applied to cross the nearby 20 meters. Do you agree? It turns out that crossing the world requires the consent of the other party. Uchiha Madara thought to himself. It must be to prevent people in the high power world from crossing the low power world at will. But all this has nothing to do with Uchiha Madara. He has to complete his plan first. Agree. Cross. After both parties confirmed the options, Liu's figure disappeared in the room instantly. After feeling dizzy for a while, the scene in front of him had changed. I saw an old man sitting in front of me, exuding a breathtaking aura. Even if he is old and dying, he is still the Shura of the ninja world. Hey Master Madara. Liu raised his hand and greeted him. Nice to meet you. I'm Uchiha Madara. Although you must know me, I still have to say hello. Well, the same. I'm Liu. Nice to meet you. Seeing Madara's attitude towards him, Liu was also very polite. I've paged Black Zetsu. It should be back soon. I need your help. Uchiha Madara is not a person who wastes time, so after greeting him, he spoke directly to Liu. No problem, but what is your plan? Liu didn't expect that he could control Black Zetsu. Although that guy may not have high combat power, he is definitely slippery and has a unique escape skill. As far as Liu's current strength is concerned, at most he can only match an elite Chunin. The main reason is that he has too little combat experience. You must know that each elite ninja in the Naruto world has fought and fought. Liu has not experienced many battles at all. Therefore, if he fights alone, Black Zetsu will definitely be able to escape from Liu's hands. Of course there is a plan. 20 minutes later, a person with half white and half black slowly emerged from the ground. Any instructions, Master Madara? Black Zetsu, who was possessed by White Zetsu, slowly spoke. At this moment, he perfectly played the role of the incarnation of Uchiha Madara's consciousness. He had no idea that the man in front of him had already stabbed him 10,000 times in his heart. Come up, I have a new plan to tell you. Uchiha Madara said in a calm tone, without any strangeness. It's Master Madara. Black Zetsu didn't check at all, and slowly walked in front of Uchiha Madara. I wonder what Master Madara's new plan is. At this moment, Uchiha Madara's eyes suddenly widened. The 3 Megatama in his eyes spun wildly, and finally merged together, to form a new pattern. Manjaki Sharingan. Master Madara. Black Zetsu never thought that Uchiha Madara would suddenly attack him. Swish. Liu, who had been hiding on the top of the cave, fell down suddenly. How could there be other people? Black Zetsu was extremely surprised at this time. Based on his understanding of Uchiha Madara, there should not be anyone in the cave except the unconscious Obito and the white Zetsu who took care of him. This also led to him not being on guard at all, because he was confident that he had deceived Uchiha Madara and made him believe that he was the incarnation of his will. At the same time, his special life form also made him confident that he could escape from anyone in the current ninja world. So Black Zetsu who came into this cave was completely unprepared. Hey, Black Zetsu. I'm going to tell you something from the bottom of my heart. Puff. Liu directly stabbed into the heart of Black Zetsu from behind. Ah. Madara-sama. Why? I'm the incarnation of your will. Why are you attacking me? Black Zetsu was controlled by the powerful pupil power of the main Gekkai Sharingan at this time, and he could not move at all. Behind him, Liu's hand was inserted into his heart. Uchiha Madara's main Gekkai eyes kept spinning, and 2 bloody tears slowly flowed out of the corners of his eyes. Do you still want to lie to me, Black Zetsu? Uchiha Madara's tone was flat. He just said it calmly. You were created by Kaguya Otsutsuki. The purpose is to let her unseal. Even the Moon Isle, the Shrine Stone tablet, is made up by you. Am I right? Black Zetsu. Damn it. How do you know? Black Zetsu saw that Uchiha Madara actually knew the whole truth. He also knew that it was useless to quibble, but he just started to struggle madly without giving up. But under the dual control of Uchiha Madara and Liu, it didn't work at all. Don't worry, Kaguya Otsutsuki will never be resurrected. I will seal you forever, and you will never have the chance to see her again. Uchiha Madara's words were like a knife stabbed in Black Zetsu's heart. You have to know that he has worked hard for so many years and survived, all for the purpose of resurrecting Kaguya Otsutsuki. Damn it. Damn it. How could I fail here? Black Zetsu yelled madly, but no matter how he struggled, it was useless. All this was exactly what Uchiha Madara wanted to see. Do it. Okay. Liu responded. The next second, the seal scroll flew up and began to bind Black Zetsu. Damn it. Let me go. Uchiha Madara. You. Black Zetsu was completely wrapped by the seal scroll before he finished speaking. Looking at Black Zetsu's reaction, Uchiha Madara smiled with satisfaction. The reason why he didn't let Liu seal the other party the moment he attacked Black Zetsu was to make Black Zetsu despair. In the future, this guy dared to dig out his heart and told him his plan proudly. Did he really think that Uchiha Madara had no temper? Ask the other ninja villages, except for Hashirama Senju. What was the result of those who dared to fight with Uchiha Madara? You will be beaten to death. The only pity is that this heart-digging dragon claw hand was not dug out by himself. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm relieved. 4 elephant seal. 4 elephant seal. 4 elephant seal. Liu wrapped more than 10 layers of seal scrolls in a row. There is a 4 elephant seal on each of the first 3 layers. Then, he performed all the sealing techniques that Uchiha Madara taught him. You are looking at the Black Zetsu that had been wrapped into a ball by the sealing scroll. Uchiha Madara was a little confused. In case the seal is lifted, there will be a backup seal, and there will be a backup seal after the backup seal is lifted. This guy is too special, so it's better to be cautious. Liu wiped the sweat from his forehead and said with a sigh, this is indeed very cautious. Uchiha Madara was a little speechless. At this time, the main Gekkai had faded, and the eyes had turned back to the appearance of 3 Megatama. Ding. Change the course of the world and reward 100,000 points. Chapter 17. The operation was successful, and you are now a girl. 100,000 points. Liu and Uchiha Madara each received 100,000 points. Liu didn't know whether these 100,000 points were a lot or a little. He had only strengthened 9,000 points before and got a big improvement. However, this thing is probably the same routine as upgrading in online games. It is estimated that the more points are needed for strengthening, the more points are needed. Liu did not use the points for the time being. Instead, he asked Uchiha Madara, should I go back now, or do you have other plans? Uchiha Madara said directly without being polite, I still need your help with Obito's matter. How long can you stay here? Liu thought about it. The time ratio is 1 to 100, that is, 24 hours is 100 days. If you don't want to delay going to school tomorrow, then it should be no problem to stay here for 30 days after 8 hours in the main world. About 30 days. Liu said, after thinking about it. Then the time is enough. As for Obito, do you still plan to follow the original plan and let Obito be your spokesperson? Liu saw that there was nothing to do at this time, so he planned to sit down and chat with Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara shook his head and said, after seeing the power of the chat group, my vision will naturally not be limited to the ninja world. Simply relying on the chat group's strengthening function, I can have power beyond this world. I don't like the 10 tails that are useless when they are extracted from the body. After listening to Uchiha Madara's words, Liu nodded. Indeed, according to Madara's personality, he naturally looked down on external forces with weaknesses. Especially after seeing the power of the chat group. Although the chat group now has few people and has only been exposed to a few worlds. But according to Madara's wisdom, how could he not see the terrifying potential of the chat group? Especially after the points are strengthened, the strength is completely his own. Unlike the 10 tails Jinchuriki, he can still be pulled out by others. Then do you plan to let Obito go back directly? Madara still shook his head and said, Obito's potential is very terrifying. He is an indispensable force in the future against the Otsutsuki clan. Especially since Obito pays much attention to the world. If you change his future, you will definitely get a lot of rewards. Uchiha Madara closed his eyes and said calmly, especially my Samurai, which is the key to my resurrection. It is no longer safe to leave it with Nagato. I hope you and Obito can help me get it back and keep it for you. Do you trust me so much? Liu was a little confused. What did Madara mean? He dared to let himself keep such an important thing as the Samurai? Ha ha ha. Uchiha laughed wildly. My layout can allow us to get a lot of points in the future. There is no reason for you not to help me, and you can't reach this ninja world without me. Without my future layout, it will not succeed. So you will help me revive in the future. Uchiha Madara's words directly grasped Liu. This is indeed the case. He has no reason to refuse a large amount of points. Just as Uchiha Madara said, Liu could not enter this world without his consent. And the layout of letting him stay in this world for more than 10 or 20 years is purely sick. So cooperating with Madara is the safest way. The points obtained in the world, where the plot is completely out of control, are definitely not small. Using the calculation method of a certain egg, this is probably worth an S-level branch plot. Are you sure Obito will help? Liu asked, after thinking about it. I have my own way. Uchiha Madara said it with great confidence. Well, guessing that the focus is on Lin, Liu can guess what the old man is planning with his ass. After roughly talking about his plan, Uchiha Madara began to sleep. There is no way. Just now, he forcibly upgraded a pair of ordinary 3 Magatama Sharingan to Manjaki, which consumed too much of his mental power. It can be said that his body is very close to running out of oil. Looking at the remaining 110,000 points, Liu fell into deep thought. Which aspect is better to strengthen? The most potential in him now is the Sage body and the Sharingan. Both have huge potential to be tapped. The immortal body can provide strong energy and recovery. But now that there is no Dan forming method, no matter how strong the source power is, it cannot achieve a qualitative transformation. Then the only way to quickly improve combat power is a Sharingan. If you can upgrade to the Manjaki, you can at least use the original form of Susanoo, and even awaken your own pupil technique. It's decided to be you. Use points to strengthen. 10,000, 20,000, until 80,000 points are invested. The 3 Magatama in Liu's eyes began to spin wildly. Then they entangled together, and became 3 Magatama connected head to tail, and the linked pattern surrounded the pupil. Connected head to tail, it represents a cycle. And my awakened ability is very compatible. But this pattern is too perfunctory, it just changes the position of the Magatama, and the 3 separate Magatama become connected head to tail. The dog author must be lazy. Liu didn't know where this fleeting thought came up. Liu shook his head, and threw the idea out of his head. Then, Liu put the remaining points on the immortal body. With 30,000 points, Liu's immortal body has been successfully developed to a small extent. It is obvious that the source power in his body is more powerful, and the physical strength has also increased slightly. Then, because of Uchiha Madara's physical condition, he had to speed up Obito's treatment process, so Obito woke up 3 days later. Liu was not idle during these 3 days. The man in front of him is the notorious Shura of the ninja world. So these days Liu has been asking Uchiha Madara for combat skills. It can be said that he has gained a lot. Then today, Obito, who was lying on the bed, woke up. Am I dead? Uchiha Obito opened his eyes. His head was still a little confused. No, Liu smiled and said, you are still alive. The operation was successful. Congratulations. You will be a girl in the future. It turns out that I'm not dead yet. After hearing what Liu said, Uchiha Obito was obviously relieved. Then he felt something was wrong. No. What operation was successful, and I will be a girl in the future? Could it be that the boulder had taken his? Obito was so excited that he almost jumped up when he thought of this. He hadn't married Lin yet. No. Uchiha Obito cried and touched his lower body with his intact arm. Huh. I'm fine. Obito touched his intact lower body and blinked, looking a little confused. Chapter 18. One dares to teach, and the other dares to believe. After teasing Sachiko for a while, Liu let Uchiha Madara take over. After all, brainwashing Pua is something that Madara is good at. And he sat aside and started playing haki. At first, Liu didn't feel much interest in haki. After all, in his eyes, haki is a separate energy system in the world of pirates. He has source power in his body, and if he practices haki, will it conflict? But based on the principle of who doesn't want to get it for free, Liu still downloaded the knowledge of haki and prepared to see it. Unexpectedly, after getting it, haki automatically turned into an offensive source skill and an auxiliary source skill. You can consume source power to cover your fist to form a haki attack. There is also a color of observation, which has also been adjusted. Liu doesn't know if it's because of his physique or because of the chat group. In short, it's very mysterious. Although it's not clear, Liu can only passively accept it. After all, there is too little information now, and maybe the answer will be revealed later. In this way, Liu sat and watched the old man Kaimu fooling the hot-blooded idiot. After being fooled by Uchiha Madara, Obito settled down in the cave and began to slowly recover his body. Until one day, I tell you, Sachi, you can't just indulge a girl when you chase her. As the saying goes, you lick a dog and lick a dog, and you will end up with nothing. Sometimes a man should be more domineering. Liu sat on Obito's back and helped him do push-ups on the ground. During this period of time, Obito has adapted to the half of his body made of Hashirama cells. But he can only move reluctantly and can't fight too fiercely. Oh. So that's the case. No wonder Lin has been pestering Kakashi. After hearing what Liu said, Obito asked while sitting and doing push-ups with difficulty. Then what should I do? Don't be lazy. Liu pushed Obito's head back and asked him to continue exercising. Then he began to say, let me teach you a trick. Do you know wall dung? Wall dung. I'm telling you, wall dung is. Liu began to explain to Obito what wall dung is. So, after you push Lin against the wall, you can say something domineering. You, woman, have already caught my attention, then I think the other person will be moved. Oh. Are you serious? Obito seemed to have seen Lin's shy look, and the whole person seemed to be full of strength in an instant. Of course, how can I lie to you? Uchiha Madara, who was not far away, was sweating profusely after hearing the conversation between the two. Obito will not be single for the rest of his life in the future. One of these two dares to teach, and the other dares to learn. That's right, you are single too, aren't you? Two white Zetsu were talking in front of Sachiko. Shut up. You can't even poop. Sachiko shouted directly at one of the white Zetsu. Brother, you is known as the saint of love. His advice must be correct. That's right, a guy like you who has no feelings, white Zetsu, should not get involved. Liu sat cross-legged on Obito's back and nodded seriously. Huh. Saint of love. Both white Zetsu were confused. Let me show you a bunch of country bumpkins what a beauty is. After saying that, Liu took out his mobile phone and opened the album. Inside were intimate photos of Liu with various beauties. If there were modern netizens present, they would definitely complain fiercely. The poor skills of this photo editing really made people cry and feel sad. However, in the eyes of the country bumpkins who have never seen modern technology, these are all real photos. Oh. This ninja tool is so powerful that it can also store images. Wow, this sister is so beautiful. But Lin is still the most beautiful. Yes, your Lin is the most beautiful in the world. Liu curled his lips and said secretly, it is really a lover's eyes that sees Ishi. Uchiha Madara looked at Liu's coquettish operation and was also speechless. Is this guy too idle? After he came into contact with the chat group, he naturally knew what photo editing was. Just those few photos full of flaws. Even a dog would shake his head. But Liu was helpless. In the past 10 days, apart from training himself, he was just playing in the group. If we don't tease our brother Tsuchi, what else can we do? Seeing that Liu was fooling Obito more and more, a white Zetsu suddenly emerged from the rock wall. Obito, it's bad. The Kakashi and Lin you have been talking about are surrounded by many mist ninjas. They are in danger now. The plan has begun. In the original work, it was not stated how long Obito lived in the cave. We only know that Obito had short hair when he was injured. And when he left the cave, his hair had become long. This time was definitely not short. But there is no way now. Uchiha Madara's body is close to collapse because of the forced use of pupil techniques before. Now it can be said that he is living on his fingers. So the plan can only be pushed forward. Bang. Obito's arms softened and the whole person fell to the ground. Damn it, I want to save them. Obito shouted anxiously. But what can you do now? Once you fight, your body will collapse. You can't even get out of this cave. Liu stood up and said, I will never give up. After hearing what Liu said, Obito gritted his teeth and stood up on the ground. Even if my body collapses, I will go to save them. Oh wow, nice look. Since you are so determined, I will help you. Huh. Obito looked at Liu in surprise. Hey, what's that look? I'm also very strong. Okay. No. I don't mean to doubt your strength. I just didn't expect you to help me. Tsuchi's voice became smaller and smaller at the end. Well, after all, we are all from the Uchiha clan. As your senior, it's okay to help you a little. That's right. Liu and Uchiha Madara told Obito that they are all from the Uchiha clan. Liu was the child who ran away with Uchiha Madara back then. He has been taking care of him until now. Don't dawdle. Liu raised his arm, and his arm was covered with a layer of dark armed color domineering. Then his fingers were put together to form a dragon claw. Ha. With a low ha, the dragon claws attacked the rock wall fiercely. Boom, the huge rock wall was smashed into pieces. Great. Awesome. Such damage was caused without using any ninjutsu. Sachiko's face was full of surprise. White Zetsu. Cover Obito's body. Obito's body is still very fragile now. He will collapse in a fierce battle. Cover him and lead the way and help him fight. No problem. Chapter 19 Kaleidoscope. White Zetsu agreed. Then White Zetsu split open like a petal and wrapped the soil. Then it wrapped up its entire body, leaving only one eye exposed. Thank you very much for saving me, but I have to go. Before leaving, Obito said his final goodbye to Uchiha Madara. Don't be in a hurry to say thank you. It's not too late to say it when you come back. Uchiha Madara sat there calmly. I may not come back again. After I save Lin and Kakashi, I will return to Konoha, so let's say goodbye now. That's hard to say. Uchiha Madara raised the corners of his mouth and showed a meaningful smile. Hurry up and set off. Liu urged. Let's go. White Zetsu leads the way. Click. Obito tore off the pipe behind him and then ran forward quickly. Liu followed closely behind. The two of them moved forward quickly in the woods. How are Lin and Kakashi? Obito asked the white Zetsu on his body. The news from my companions is not optimistic. And they also mentioned the experimental subjects in the hidden mist village. I'm not sure about that. White Zetsu reported the situation to Obito slowly. Experimental subjects? Obito looked a little strange, and his body increased its speed again. In short, Kakashi and Rin are now surrounded by dozens of mist ninjas, and they are powerful Anbu and Jonin. Damn, how could this happen? Obito became even more anxious after hearing about Kakashi and the others. Where is Minato sensei? Who? White Zetsu didn't react for a while. I mean the Golden Flash. Namake's Minato. Where is he? HMM seems to be carrying out other important tasks. Damn, why is it at this time? Obito pushed hard on the tree trunk, and the tree trunk cracked with a click. It can be seen that Obito was so anxious at this time that he didn't care about controlling the strength at all. Kakashi, you promised me, no matter what, you must protect Lin. I'll be there soon. Madara once said that only a pair of Sharingan can exert the strongest power together. When I arrive, with the help of brother Yu, we will definitely win. So you must hold on. Kakashi. Liu followed behind Obito and looked at the emotional Tsuchiko. I have to sigh that the Uchiha clan is indeed a clan of love, especially brother Tsuchiko, who is the best among them. No wonder Uchiha Madara chose him. However, compared to the original plot, I hope you will have a good ending this time. Although the process may be a little bumpy, but we are here. The battle fluctuations from afar can already be felt here. Boom. Boom. Even here, thousands of meters away, the fluctuations of the explosion can be faintly felt. It seems to be there. Obito stared at the direction where the explosion fluctuations came from. I thought I finally caught up. Let's go, brother Yu. Yes, let's go. After that, the two figures rushed out quickly. Just when they were about to reach the destination, Obito's expression suddenly became wrong. What's wrong? Obito Liu knew that the two Sharingan were close and resonated. I don't know, but it doesn't feel good. Let's speed up. Okay. Finally caught up. Obito had heard the roar of the Chidori. He knew that this was Kakashi's special skill. But in the next moment, a scene that Obito would never forget appeared. The Chidori pierced not the enemy's body, but the person who was supposed to be protected. Lin. Obito was dumbfounded. His expression gradually collapsed. Kakashi also had the same emotion. He personally pierced through the companion he wanted to protect with his life. The huge emotional stimulation made his consciousness on the verge of collapse at this time. The emotions of the two people also resonated at this moment. The two Sharingan in different people's eyes began to spin wildly. In the end, a triangular dart pattern was formed. Kaleidoscope. Success. Boom. The huge stimulation made Kakashi fall to the ground and faint. At this moment, Obito's spirit was on the verge of collapse. He was going crazy. Obito, calm down. Solve the enemy first. Things are not irreversible yet. What? Obito's mental world, which was about to collapse, was temporarily relieved. Think about it. Madara can save you, even though half of your body was crushed. Hurry up and solve the enemy. Maybe Lin can still be saved. Liu's words brought Obito back to his senses. Asshole. Are you looking down on us blood mist ninjas? How dare you chat as if nothing happened? The two mist ninjas saw that Liu and Obito ignored so many of them and chatted there and simply didn't take them seriously. Then the two of them attacked directly. Water escape. Water dragon bullet. One of the Anbu quickly formed a seal and then sprayed a water dragon from his mouth and rushed towards Liu with his teeth and claws. The other one instantly shot out a large number of shurikens and kunai, flying towards Obito. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The dense hidden weapons directly penetrated Obito's figure and nailed him in the woods behind him. What dodged? The ninja who fired the hidden weapon thought that Obito dodged it with his quick body movements. And the water dragon here also hit Liu's position. Success. The Anbu did not see Liu dodge or defend and thought that Liu was hit directly. But, no. What? Question mark? The ninja who fired the water dragon bullet was surprised to find that the sound came from above his head. Give it back to you. Liu's body was in midair and the kaleidoscope pattern in his eyes was spinning. He waved his right hand at the ninja. A thicker water dragon flew out of his palm. It directly attacked the ninja. At the same time, Obito also moved. Obito's figure burst out and went to the mist ninja who attacked him. This kind of direct attack. The mist ninja drew out the ninja sword in his hand and inserted it at Obito. But the attack went straight through his body. The next second, a thick branch burst out from Obito's hand. It went straight through the opponent's head. As for Liu, after he swung out the water dragon, as soon as his body landed on the ground, 3 ninjutsu attacked from a distance. 2 water escapes and 1 lightning escape. Hey, this is too hospitable. When the 3 ninjutsu came in front of Liu, they disappeared directly. Then Liu waved his 2 arms. I'll give it back to you. The 3 ninjutsu that attacked him before were actually released by him. Even the power was 3 times stronger than before. Chapter 20. Even if I die. The ninjutsu, which was a bit more powerful than before, was thrown back by Liu towards a crowded place. Boom. Several mist ninjas in astonishment received their lunch boxes. Looking at Obito, he started fighting with Camus. The opponent couldn't hurt him at all, and every attack would pass through his body. The strange attack method made the mist ninjas fighting him a little defensive. What the hell is this? Attacking him is useless. On Liu's side, the mist ninjas also found something wrong. Don't attack with ninjutsu. He can absorb ninjutsu and return it twice. Damn, what kind of monster is this? Isn't it a bit late to find out now? The 3 Magatama connected head to tail and Liu's eyes were spinning. A mocking smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. That's right, this is the ability of Liu's awakened main Gekio. It can absorb any energy attack. It can be stored, or it can consume energy and return it twice. Another one is the fire of Amaterasu. Damn it. It's just that ninjutsu can't be used. Everyone, use taijutsu. Unlike that guy, who can't be attacked. Kill him first, then deal with that guy. Kill me first. What gives you such confidence? Liu grinned and laughed at several mist ninjas. Damn it. Everyone, come together. After that, a group of mist ninjas rushed towards Liu in a team. As for why they didn't use the famous skills of the hidden mist village, the legendary great mist technique, Bushi, it was because they had used it before, but the mist also contained chakra, so it was directly absorbed by Liu. Therefore, facing Liu, they could only rush forward with their ninja swords. But even so, they could only grit their teeth and rush up, because they could still see a little chance of winning here with Liu. Obito, who was completely unattackable, made them even more desperate. Let's have a little Uchiha shock. Liu pinched a seal. Fire escape. Great fire extinguishing. Who? The flames rushed towards him like the sea. This level of fire escape. What kind of monster is this? Liu used a fire escape to directly add the energy of several ninjutsu absorbed before, and added half of his own source power. The power is comparable to the fire escape released by Uchiha Madara during the Ninja World War. You have to know that ordinary ninjas, even senior ninjas, can only release a few ordinary high-level ninjutsu at most. Don't you see that in the 2 duels between Kakashi and Zabuza? Chakra was used carefully. Zabuza is a representative of ordinary people's physique. Kakashi is dragged down by the Sharingan. The reason why people think that ninjutsu does not consume much is just because the shots in the original work are all gathered around the protagonist group, all of whom are ninjas with various talents. Liu used the Sharingan to look at these so-called mist ninja and Bushinia ninjas, and the most energy consumed was only about 0.8 calories. So they have never seen a ninjutsu like Liu that directly consumes a lot of energy. It's troublesome to be hit in this range. Let's use the water array wall together. Water escape. Water array wall. In a hurry, only 7 or 8 ninjas used it. The result is self-evident. Only a small part of the attack was blocked. After all, in the original plot, it took more than 20 mist ninjas to block Uchiha Madara's Heiho extinguishing. Except for a small number of people who used water escape to block Heiho extinguishing, no one was injured. Everyone else screamed. Damn it. He's gone. I'm here. Liu's voice came from behind the ninja, and then a flash of lightning pierced his heart directly. Palm thunder. Zzzz. Liu's body was emitting lightning, and he began to wreak havoc in the crowd. Palm thunder is different from ninjutsu. You don't need to make a seal to raise your hand to hit. And with the blessing of thunder, Liu's speed has also been greatly improved. A ninja wanted to sneak attack, and Liu's Sharingan saw it clearly. Lightning flashed, and at the moment of dodging, he picked up a ninja sword on the ground. With the blessing of lightning, he threw it out directly. Whoosh. Although it can't do the precise calculation of the electromagnetic gun like Sister Peo, but with the blessing of lightning, the metal ninja sword still flew out at a very fast speed. Puff. Puff, in the blink of an eye, he pierced through 3 enemies. Damn, what kind of monsters are these? Liu's figure ran on the battlefield. Under the words and deeds of Shura of the ninja world, his fighting style was neat and tidy, without any unnecessary movements. It was simply an art of killing. Samina-san, come and dance. Liu picked up an enemy's ninja bag. Super Elgin, castrated version of the mental supplement, dance. Countless lightning shot out. On both sides of the battlefield, the screams of the mist ninja continued to come until there was no sound at the end. All enemies were destroyed. After the battle, Liu breathed a sigh of relief. Although he was decisive in killing when fighting, that was all the hints he gave himself with the Sharingan. After all, he had never experienced this kind of killing before. After the battle, smelling the bloody smell of the battlefield, Liu could only force himself to calm down. You must know that this kind of thing will never be less in the future, especially in his original world. But there is also a battlefield. Lin. Obito knelt in front of Lin's body. He was shaking all over, and tears could not stop flowing down. Brother you. Lin has no signs of life. Obito looked at Liu eagerly, and he was panic-stricken, and had completely lost his mind. Cheer up, Obito. There are ninjutsu in this world that can bring the dead back to life. Liu's words hit Obito's heart like a heavy hammer. How is it possible? This kind of thing. Could it be? Obito was so excited that his whole body was shaking. Reason told others that the dead could not be resurrected. But Liu's words had become his last hope. Even if it was something beyond common sense, he hoped it was true. Take Lin away first. As far as I know, Madara has mastered the ninjutsu that can bring people back to life. Obito's head was stunned for a moment. He came to his senses the next second. Let's go. Let's go back. Obito slowly picked up Lin's body. No matter how much it costs, I will revive Lin. A world without Lin. Obito turned around and left quickly with Lin in his arms. As for Kakashi on the ground, Obito didn't even look at him. If it wasn't for the possibility that Rin could be resurrected, Obito wanted to let him experience the feeling of having his heart broken. In the cave. I told you that you would come back. Uchiha Madara said slowly while looking at Obito standing in front of him. Bang. Obito knelt on the ground and knocked his head heavily. Please, save Rin. I'm willing to pay any price. Even if it means I have to die. Chapter 21 Obtaining the Samsurai. I do know the technique to bring the dead back to life. Looking at Obito, Uchiha Madara didn't try to be mysterious and said directly. But I can't do it now. What? Obito's eyes suddenly widened, and the little hope that had just risen in his heart was gone in an instant. I died in a decisive battle with Hashirama that year, and I bit off his flesh and blood before I died. After using Ai's energy to revive, several decades later, my eternal manger key was upgraded to the Samsurai. The Samsurai has the ability to reverse life and death. If I use the Samsara natural life technique with the Samsurai, I can indeed bring the dead back to life. But, the Samsurai was given away by Madara a few years ago. Liu interrupted. Give it away. Obito was a little confused. That was the eye of the legendary Six Paths Sage. How could it be given away just like that? Only the eternal eye plus the power of the thousand hands can become the Samsurai. If you want Lin to be resurrected, you can choose to go with you to get the eye back. So I can use the last strength of my life to help you activate the Samsara reincarnation technique. Life, the last strength? Do you think reversing life and death is such a simple thing? Samsara reincarnation is a ninjutsu that is activated at the cost of the caster's vitality. Using your life in exchange for Rin's life. Obito was shocked, but there was a trace of doubt in his heart. Is Madara the kind of person who sacrifices himself for others? It doesn't look like it at all. I don't have much time left, and helping you revive Rin is not without cost. I need you in the future to do something for me. Okay. Obito could only take a gamble at this time. No matter what you want me to do, as long as it can save Rin, I will help you do it, even if I die in the future. The contract is reached. Liu clapped his hands and said, those who break their promises will be punished by eating salt. Huh? What do you mean? Obito didn't understand this sentence. It doesn't matter, don't worry, I'm just playing a bad joke. After saying that, Liu dragged Obito and turned to leave. Let's go quickly. The reincarnation technique is not unlimited. It can only resurrect people who died within 24 hours. Temporarily let another white Zetsu cover Lin's body and use the characteristics of the white Zetsu to keep her body temporarily active, which can extend the time to 36 hours. So we must speed up. Then hurry up. Then the two of them rushed towards the rain country at a high speed. This long journey is really not something that humans can do. Both of them have the support of Hashirama cells, so their physical energy recovery speed is very good. After 8 hours of continuous high-speed running and the instant body technique, finally arrived at the destination, the outskirts of the rain village. At this time, Nagato and the other two were still running around 4-piece. The Akatsuki organization was just beginning to sprout, and everything was moving in a good direction. But, who are you? Yahiko looked at Liu and Obito who appeared in front of them and asked nervously. You don't need to care who we are just here to retrieve the things that we have deposited with you. Obito didn't say anything, while Liu played the role of a villain. Well, he felt it was fun. I don't remember you leaving anything here with us. Conan also looked at them warily. The two of them looked like they were here with bad intentions. Those eyes don't belong to you, Nagato. You are here for the samurai. Yahiko instantly took a fighting stance. Conan and Nagato were a little slow to react, but they also responded quickly. This is Nagato's eye. What do you want to do? Conan stood in front of Nagato. In fact, Nagato is the strongest among the three. But at this time, his personality was a little soft, so he was always taken care of by Yahiko and Conan. Don't joke, the Uzumaki clan can't awaken the bloodline limit of the samurai. The samurai is an eye that can only be born by combining the Sharingan of the Eternal Manger Key with the power of the Senju clan. Nagato's samurai is just transplanted by us, and now we are just here to take back our own things. I don't want to hurt you, just hand over your eyes obediently. Who would obey obediently? Yahiko retorted loudly, and stop bragging, it's still unclear who will hurt whom. Looking at the two people in front of him who were about the same age as him, Yahiko was not at all intimidated. You have to know that they are one of the famous 3 ninjas and disciples of Jiraiya. That's right. Who knows whether what you said is true or false? Just 2 sentences make people dig out their eyes. Do you think we are stupid? It seems that the negotiation failed. Liu scratched his head, but I didn't expect you to obey obediently. Time waits for no one. I will hold those 2 guys back. Obito, you go get the samurai. Yeah. Obito nodded and rushed out. Nagato, be careful. I know. Looking at Obito rushing towards him, Nagato immediately perked up all his energy. Then I'll play with you too. Lightning flashed on Liu's body. The next second, he appeared in front of Yahiko and Conan, and kicked them away one by one. And Obito also fought with Nagato. Palm Thunder. Liu raised his hand and shot a Palm Thunder at Yahiko. Bang. Yahiko, who was hit, instantly turned into a wooden stake. Substitution technique. Success. The next second, Yahiko appeared behind Liu and stabbed Liu's kidney with a kunai. I knew you were here. Liu's observation haki had already sensed Yahiko's movements. But his right hand was instantly covered with armament haki. He struck Yahiko. Ding. Yahiko changed his moves midway and cut towards Liu's arm, but unexpectedly, there was a metallic collision sound at the moment of contact. Bang. Yahiko was knocked out again. Yahiko, who flew backwards, felt as if the bones of his arm were about to break. And at this moment, Conan's attack also arrived. Paper Shuriken. Conan's technique, although in the form of paper, but with the blessing of paper escape, its lethality is no worse than that of iron ninja tools. But, no matter how strong the attack is, it's completely useless if it can't hit the enemy. Conan's attack couldn't touch Liu's shadow at all. Damn, he's so fast. A drop of sweat left Yahiko's forehead. Liu's speed gave him a headache. Especially not far away, Nagato was completely at a disadvantage in the battle with Obito. At this time, Nagato had only a preliminary grasp of the samurai, and faced with Obito, whose body was hollow and could not be reached or touched, he was completely passive. The next stage is coming soon. Preview. The mythical Zaogeo. Zaogeo, you are amazing. You are noble. You say I'm a traitor. Then I will help Qin Shi Huang to achieve immortality. You say I'm the culprit of the Qin dynasty's demise. Then I will make the Qin dynasty immortal. I will help the first emperor build an unparalleled Qin. So please read on. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. we cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22. Nagato is not halfway through carrying rice. Here Liu completely suppressed Xiaonan and Yahiko. Whether it was ninjutsu or taijutsu, they were no match for Liu. When using ninjutsu, they were directly absorbed, and when using taijutsu, they couldn't beat him. Damn it. Why do you hit my face, you bastard? Yahiko couldn't help but curse when he was once again knocked out by Liu's friendship punch. You keep rushing over. I can't just hit Xiaonan, a girl. But I'm so upset that I can only beat you. You bad-tempered guy. Yahiko covered his swollen half of his face and cursed incoherently. Yoho, thank you for the compliment. Liu took advantage of the situation to dodge a kune stabbed by Xiaonan and bent his fingers, and with a bang, a head bounced on the other's forehead. It hurts. Xiaonan cried out in pain and fell down, covering her forehead. Damn it. Are you kidding us? You can't see such an obvious thing. Are you stupid? Liu sneered at Yahiko with his hands on his waist. Well, how should I put it? It feels so good to play with the big boss in the middle and late stages. This part must be photographed and recorded as a souvenir. Facing an enemy like Liu who has almost no weaknesses, Yahiko and Konan can only grit their teeth and have no way out. At this time, Nagato screamed. Nagato. Hearing Nagato's voice, Yahiko and Konan rushed to the other side of the battlefield again. But this time Liu did not stop them again. It seems that brother Tsuchi seems to have succeeded. Liu followed in a flash. Arrived at the scene, Nagato was already lying on the ground, and Yahiko and Konan carefully helped him up beside him. At this time, Nagato's eyes had become empty. Here you go. Obito handed a small bottle containing the Samsurai to Liu. The small bottle was filled with liquid, and the Samsurai was soaked in it. Damn it. Give Nagato's eyes back. Yahiko was extremely angry, and he stood up, and was about to rush forward, to fight with Liu and the others. But he was pulled back by Nagato. Don't go. Nagato's eyes were bleeding, and he said breathlessly, we are not their opponents. As long as you and Konan are fine, they can take the eyes. You have already got what you want. So please don't hurt Konan and Yahiko, and please leave after taking the eyes. Feeling the strength coming from Nagato's hand, Yahiko punched the ground fiercely. Why don't you get out of here quickly? Take those broken eyes and get out of here. Well, don't lose your temper. Liu waved his hand and said, I know it's our fault. We transplanted eyes to Nagato without permission, and then took them back without saying a word. So I will transplant another pair of eyes for Nagato to replace. After all, you don't want Nagato to be blind in the future. Obito watched Liu's operation from the side and felt that something was wrong. You guy. Yahiko clenched his fists tightly. Liu was right. He couldn't let Nagato be blind in the future. What is this? Konan shed tears. This is the fate of the weak in this world. Without strength, they can only be dominated by the strong. It must be painful for your companions to be injured, and it must be painful for you to be powerless. Feel this pain, and then become stronger. Liu's words made the three people fall into deep thought. No matter what the three people think. Liu took out another small bottle. It contained a pair of Sharingan plugins collected by Uchiha Madara. After pressing the eyes into Nagato's empty eye sockets, Liu directly applied medicine to his eyes and wrapped them with bandages. Nagato is the blood of the Uzumaki clan, and he has strong vitality and recovery ability. With simple medicine and a period of fusion, the new eyes will grow well. I replaced him with a pair of Sharingan. If his Sharingan evolves into Manjaki in the future, please remember not to overuse it, or he will go blind. Although the physique of the Uzumaki clan can slowly repair the damage of the Sharingan, still remember not to overuse the Manjaki's pupil technique. That's it. Liu stood up. As for how to go in the future, you decide for yourself. Let's go, Obito. We still have to hurry. After Liu finished speaking, the two turned around and left. Only the three people who were still there were still confused. I swear, I must become stronger, strong enough to protect all of you. Liu's words planted a seed of strength in Yahiko's heart. As for whether the seed can grow into a towering tree, it can only be seen in the future. Finally, after a long journey, Obito and Liu returned to the cave, where Uchiha Madara was hiding. Here, Liu threw the small bottle containing the Samsurai to Uchiha Madara. Do you think this is Nagato's budget being robbed halfway through his work? Ah. What do you mean? Uchiha Madara naturally knew that Liu was playing a cliché, but Obito didn't understand it at all. Ignoring Liu's cliché, Uchiha Madara directly took the eye and clicked and adjusted it. With a wipe, the plugin was replaced and used immediately. Next, I will perform the Samsara natural life technique. Grandpa. Uchiha Obito looked at Madara and hesitated. The old man in front of him not only saved him, but now he was going to use his last life to save Lin. Although everyone was talking about Uchiha Madara's bad deeds, in his eyes, this ancestor was indeed a great good man. Of course, he didn't know that everything was arranged by his ancestor. Otherwise, he wouldn't think so. Samsara natural life technique. A white light flew out of Uchiha Madara's body and fell into Lin's body. Slowly, Lin's body, which had no signs of life, began to come to life. The heart also began to beat slowly. Alive, Lin is resurrected. Tears of joy flowed from Uchiha Obito's eyes. Okay, your goal has been achieved. You can leave now. Uchiha Madara looked at Obito and said weakly. Thank you, I really don't know how to thank you. My life is about to come to an end. If you really want to thank me, don't tell Konoha about my existence. As for what you promised to do for me, this promise will be fulfilled by Uchiha you in the future. Okay. Obito nodded and said, in the future, as long as brother you comes to me, I will agree to anything. That's good. Uchiha Madara nodded, and then closed his eyes completely. You take Lin away. I want to completely seal this place as Madara's tomb. Liu looked at Madara, who had lost signs of life, and turned to Obito and said, Chapter 23 Return. Thank you for your care these days. Uchiha Obito bowed to Liu and Uchiha Madara, picked up Lin's body and slowly walked out of the cave. Looking at Liu, the chat group has been opened at this time. The balance of points is 200,000. 200,000 points come from Obito, Lin and Nagato. Liu estimated that Uchiha Madara is about the same. Liu looked at Uchiha Madara's blackened avatar. It seems that he can't talk in the Pure Land. Liu did an experiment with Uchiha Madara, because at the end, the plot showed that their souls in the Pure Land are also conscious. So the two did an experiment here. Look at the results to determine the time of Uchiha Madara's resurrection. But it seems that Uchiha Madara should not be able to use the chat group in the Pure Land, or the chat group has determined that the group members are dead. It doesn't matter. Anyway, when Uchiha Madara is resurrected, has no effect on the plan. Use 10,000 points to learn the impure world reincarnation with one click. Uchiha Madara had also read the Book of Seals, but he was disdainful of learning the ninjutsu of Senjutsu Birima. That's why he knew the seal of the impure world reincarnation. He grabbed a white zetsu directly. Liu first resurrected Uchiha Madara. The white zetsu, who was used as a sacrifice, was directly swallowed. The next second, the impure world Madara appeared. This time, Madara was not the old and frail one. It was the young Uchiha Madara during the Warring States period, which was the purpose of Liu and the others. The ninja resurrected by the impure world reincarnation was at the peak of his life. If the reincarnation technique was used directly on the old Madara, he would not live for a few days after being resurrected. What does death feel like? Liu asked Uchiha Madara. The consciousness is in a hazy sense, as if awake and as if asleep. But it doesn't matter, you can use the reincarnation technique. After that, Uchiha Madara stuffed the reincarnation eye into a white zetsu, and then controlled the white zetsu to use the reincarnation technique. Change the course of the world, to get 80,000 points. Liu received a message from the system again. How many points did you get? Liu asked Uchiha Madara. He estimated that Uchiha Madara had more points than him after all. He resurrected himself. Especially Uchiha Madara has a higher emphasis in this world. After these events, Liu found that the points are determined by the character's future impact on the world and the emphasis on the world itself. For example, the protagonist, supporting role, important supporting role, and extra. I got 120,000. Uchiha Madara smiled very satisfied after resurrecting and becoming younger. Black Zetsu's 100,000, Obito, the resurrected Rin, and Nagato brought Uchiha Madara a total of 350,000 points, plus his own 120,000, a total of 470,000. And this is not a one-time thing. According to the explanation given by the chat group, the above people will also get a sum of points based on their subsequent impact on the world. Well, you get more points than me because you are the leader. Calculating that Uchiha Madara got more points than himself, Liu also understood. After all, if we count him as a gang, he is the mastermind. But Liu is not in a hurry. There are many worlds where he can get points later. This way I can hide behind the scenes. What are you going to do next? Liu asked Uchiha Madara. I need you to come again on the day Naruto is born. You will play the role of Obito. Naruto is a child of destiny and he must become a Jinchuriki. But the 4th generation and Kushina can live, which is also a lot of points. Then I will hide my identity and sneak into Konoha. At this point, Uchiha Madara laughed wildly. Hehe, ha 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 ha. Uchiha Madara covered his face and laughed loudly. When I show my fangs, what expression will you, the child of destiny, have? Ha 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 ha. It's so funny, I can't wait. Liu looked at Uchiha Madara and felt that he was a little perverted. But it's so funny. Naruto in this world, hehe, ha 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 ha. Oh, I can't help but laugh. Anyway, let the future ninja world dance. I want to completely reach the 6 paths, and I need about 5 million points in total. Now I have almost 1/10 of it, and it's not that difficult to think about it. Uchiha Madara smiled happily, and there was a lot of room for maneuver in future events. So, let's dance for me. Looking at Liu, the remaining points were 270,000. After coming here, he earned 380,000 points, and after spending 110,000, there were 270,000 left. In general, the harvest was not bad. If he wanted to further strengthen his current main Gekyo to the Eternal Eye, he would need 500,000 points. However, if the remaining points were all put on the Sage Body, would release should be able to awaken. Then if everything is fine here, I will go back directly. Well, Uchiha Madara nodded. I will notify you when the plan proceeds to the next step. The chat group is very magical. When it is not opened, the time flow rate of each world is different. Only when we enter the chat group, our world time will be synchronized, so I will rarely enter the chat group next time. If there is anything, just at me directly, and I will receive a prompt. Okay, I understand. After Liu nodded, he silently said return in his heart. Then he disappeared. The next second, when Liu came to his senses, he had returned to his room. It was already late at night outside, and Liu lay down to sleep directly. The next day, he was woken up by Yang Xiaomi again. Liu was stunned when he saw Yang Xiaomi. What's wrong? Yang Xiaomi looked at Liu puzzledly. It's okay, I'm fine. In Liu's perception, Yang Xiaomi's mental energy was particularly active today. She obviously didn't feel this herself. In this case, my sister, is she going to awaken some bloodline? Liu looked at Yang Xiaomi's back and couldn't help thinking. As mentioned before, people with extraordinary talents in this world have a chance to awaken some ancient blood power. Liu strongly suspected that there was a mythological era in ancient times, but there is no data to investigate. Or there is data, but it cannot be found with Liu's authority. As mentioned before, historical records show that the first traces of human beings appeared 9,000 years ago. At that time, humans had a rough grasp of the use of source power. After 6,000 years of development, human beings gradually matured in the use and cultivation of source power. Various sects entered a stage of rapid development. 1500 years ago, the cultivation of source power reached its peak. 150 years ago, source power technology began to rise. But 100 years ago, a disaster that was enough to shake the foundation of mankind occurred. The 6 countries of the eastern continent merged to create the Dangsha Federation. All sects also participated in the war. Chapter 24 New group members. In just 100 years, mankind suffered huge losses and barely achieved a delicate balance with various natural disasters. The major sects have transformed into academies to put aside their past grudges and cultivate talents for mankind. These one-sided things were learned by Liu on the internet. Did various natural disasters really appear suddenly? Was there a more glorious era 9,000 years ago? Did those legendary immortals exist in a more distant era? And why did they disappear? Are there deeper information in those top institutions and countries? Liu is completely unaware of these. Perhaps only when you reach a higher level can you know. But none of this matters. The most important thing for him now is to become stronger. And Yang Xiaomi, I wonder what kind of blood power she will awaken. It would be nice if she was a beast-eared girl. Liu suddenly thought of Yang Xiaomi as beast-eared JK. Just thinking about it makes me a little excited. Hehe. At night, Liu had just finished his meal when he received a message from Ichigo Kurosaki. He helped Kisuke Ratara get a fuse in Pakuto and gave them directly to Liu. Kamero, how is Yahoo? Has your relationship with Rukia improved recently? Kurosaki Ichigo, shut up. I told you we are just good friends. Zhang Chulan, I don't believe it. I have watched all of Bleach. It is hard for me to be at peace if you two are not together. Kurosaki Ichigo, shut up. Learn from your junior master when you have time. Zhang Chulan, that's too much. Don't I want a girlfriend? Don't I want to be in a relationship? Is it just me who doesn't want to? Kamero, I'm obsessed with the pair of Junior Master and Zahi. At this time, everyone received a message from the chat group. Himura Kenshin joined the chat group. Zao Gao joined the chat group. Yakumo Yukari joined the chat group. Lee Zioyao joined the chat group. Lucy Heartfilia joined the chat group. Kamero, are there new people? Kurosaki Ichigo, 5 at a time. Zhang Chulan, I'm a senior now. Ha 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 ha. Here comes the newcomer to post photos. It was Liu who received the message from the chat group just after he accepted Kurosaki Ichigo's Zanpaket. I got the qualification to invite group members once. I didn't expect that I was lucky enough to randomly invite 5 people at once. Yakumo Yukari, oh, I didn't expect that things outside the world are interesting. Lucy, is this really not magic? Himura Kenshin, of course it's not magic. The moment I joined the chat group, I learned the relevant information. So you should be people in a different world from me. Liu, that's right. The moment you receive the chat group invitation, the chat group will engrave the relevant information into your mind. Yakumo Yukari, although I know the existence of parallel worlds, I didn't know there was such a thing as a chat group. It's really interesting. Liu, hi. Yukari mom. Kamaru, hi. Yukari mom. Yakumo Yukari, deg. Hey, isn't it a bit too much for you to call a 17-year-old girl like this? Liu, you are a realm demon of the immortal species. Do you believe that you are 17 years old? Kamaru, I think it's 17 asterisk 100 years old. Yakumo Yukari, it seems that you really know me. Liu, when Zima smiles, life and death are unpredictable. Fortunately, there is a dimensional wall between us. Yumuru-chan, it feels so good to die. Asterisk, anyway, I dare not meet Zima in this life. Lucy, since you are so cowardly, don't provoke her. Liu, that's impossible. Calling Zima in front of Zima, smashing the money box of Hakurimako, overturning Yuiko's dining table, smashing Kaguya's game console, picking sunflowers in front of Fumiya Miyuka, but it is the dream of every Touhou fan. Yumuru-chan, this is love. Yakumo Yukari, are you sure this is love, not a guide to committing suicide in Jinsokyo? Lucy, so you really know the information of other worlds? Yumuru-chan, of course. Lucy little angel, have you joined Fairy Tail now? Lucy, oh, little angel or something. You praise me so much hehehehe. Liu, this is clear stupidity. Kenshin Himura, it's so lively at LIU. Long time no see. You, is this what you said about our reunion? Liu, huh. Kenshin, have we met? Ding dong, abnormal timeline detected. Change the world line to get a reward of 100,000 points. Liu suddenly received 100,000 points from Kenshin Himura. Liu, what's going on? Liu, how did I suddenly get the reward points to change your fate? Kenshin Himura, I'm not very clear about it. Many years ago, it was you who saved me and Tomo Yukishiro, and then disappeared after leaving me a message and said that we will meet again in the future. Umaru-chan, the amount of information is huge, but as someone who has read many light novels, I have guessed the answer. Liu, me too. Yakumo Yukari, is it a reversal of time, or a reversal of cause and effect? Umaru-chan, it should be like this. Liu from the future went back to the past to save Tomo Yukishiro and Kenshin. Umaru-chan, this wave of Liu deserves to be enshrined in the Imperial Ancestral Temple. Happy New Year to all CP fans. Kenshin Himura, so that's the case. Then I understand. Thank you so much, you. Kenshin Himura, oh, yes, this is a little gift from me. Kenshin Himura uploaded Hit and Mick and Ryu. Liu's eyes lit up when he saw what Kenshin Himura uploaded. He just got his Zanpakuto, and it's just right for him to use Hit and Mick and Ryu. Liu, then tell us what timeline everyone is in. Liu, in line with the principle of helping each other when there are difficulties, please feel free to ask for help if you need anything. Ichigo Kurosaki, so there are new shows to watch. Zhang Chulan, I checked online and found that we also have works of Rurouni Kenshin and Fairy Tail here, but Kenshin looks a little different from the comics. Liu, that's because the one in front of you is Rurouni Denno. Umaru-chan, or Kamen Rider Kenshin. After Liu finished speaking, he uploaded the complete movie version of Rurouni Kenshin. Liu, but the timeline has been changed by me a long time ago, so I'm afraid the human slaying arc doesn't exist. Yakumo Yukari, oh, it's really a magical thing. Speaking of which, Jinsokyo is very boring. You can send me more comics to read. Umaru-chan, no problem, Yukari, mom. I've downloaded it for you, a whole computer of resources for you. Yakumo Yukari, thank you very much, but it would be best if you could change your name. Kamero, that's absolutely not possible. Because this is the fans' love for you. At this time, Kurosaki Ichigo also downloaded the Hit and Mick Tsurugi Ryu. I feel that this set of swordsmanship is very suitable for my use after Bankei. Liu, so, what timeline do you belong to, Yukari, and Lucy? Lucy, as for me, I just accepted an S-level mission with Natsu, and came to Kala Island. Kamero, did you accept it? You accepted it privately, and wait to be punished, when you go back. Liu, it's very scary. Sinister smile. Chapter 25 Zaogeo. Lucy, hey, don't scare me. Liu, and there are demons on the island. Lucy, evil. Demons? Lucy, who was already sailing in the sea, suddenly turned pale with fear and her teeth chattered. Hey? Lucy, are you feeling unwell? Gray looked at Lucy, whose expression suddenly changed, and asked with concern. As for Natsu, he was already seasick and vomiting. Gee, Gray, you said there won't really be demons on the island, right? So that's it. Then who knows, maybe there is. Gray leaned against the side of the ship and said casually, Asa, if you encounter a demon, push Lucy out first. Happy flew into the air and grinned. You stinky cat, I won't treat you to fish next time. Lucy pointed at Happy and complained loudly, no, Lucy, we were just kidding you. Happy immediately admitted his fear because he liked to eat fish the most, but most of Natsu's mission rewards would be compensated. This has led to a very tight life for the two of them, as they often rely on Lucy to help them eat fish. After a few jokes, Lucy was no longer nervous. Instead, she noticed the file called Fairy Tail uploaded by Liu. She chose to download it directly. Ichigo Kurosaki, why didn't the other two speak? Zhang Chulan, I don't know, either they were peeking at the screen or maybe they didn't check the group. Liu was checking the group avatar information cards of the two. Zaogeo is Zaogeo from the mythological world, and Lee Zaoeo is Uje's version. As for why they didn't speak, Liu didn't know, but he wasn't in a hurry. Yakumo Yukari, as for me, since Jinsokyo is outside the world, I'm not sure about the time. Liu, who is the current Akure Shrine Maiden, Ryumu? Yakumo Yukari, Ryumu? Ryumu is still young, and her mother is taking care of her. Liu! Exclamation mark. Mother? Umaru-chan? Mother is still alive? Question mark? I cry 20th Umaru-chan, Liu should find a way to save Amma. Although there are many parallel worlds, it would be fine if Ryumu and Amma can live happily in one world. Yumaru-chan, Ryumu sitting on the stone steps waiting for Amma and Rumiya is so pitiful. I want to cry when I think of this. Yakumo Yukari, wait. Question mark? You two said that Hakuri will die. Question mark? Yakumo Yukari, how is it possible? Hakura Imako is the strongest existence in Jinsokyo. Liu, tell how young Ryumu. File Liu, I hope there is still plenty of time and everything will be in time. Yakumo Yukari, thank you. If all this is true, I owe you a favor. After saying that, Yakumo Yukari downloaded Tell How Young Ryumu. Zhang, by the way, this Zaogeo is not the treacherous minister Zaogeo of the Qin dynasty, right? Liu, how can I say it? It can be said that it can also be said that it is not. This Zaogeo is actually a poor man. He was also forced to become that Zaogeo step by step. Liu, if it is really the historical Zaogeo, I will not give him any help, but this Zaogeo, I want to help him, but let's wait until he comes online. Liu, but I will send you the story of this world first, and you can read it first. Liu, mythology file. So far, 3 of the 5 new people in the group have a general understanding of the chat group. Only the other 2. Let's look at Zaogeo first. Mythology world. At this time, a drama of good friends turning against each other is being staged. After learning that the first emperor would give Geo the name Zaogeo, Yi Ziochuan panicked. He looked at the happy Zaogeo at this time and finally exploded. He slammed the table and shouted excitedly, "You are Zaogeo today, right? You are very happy, right? I'm not happy." Yi Ziochuan excitedly trotted down the steps and grabbed Zaogeo. "Do you still remember that you are Geoland's brother? We came to Dakin and became a pair of brothers in distress, wandering around the world, thinking that one day I could return to the modern world. But you forgot. You forgot everything. What are you thinking about writing all day long now? You always think that I want to dominate the world. You always think that I want to climb up step by step." Yi Ziochuan became more and more excited as he spoke, and his voice became louder and louder. "I'm very scared. I'm very scared that one day my friend will become that Zaogeo." Looking at Yi Ziochuan, who was cursing at him, Zaogeo was also stunned for a moment. He was puzzled at first, then surprised, angry and sad. He was obviously thinking about the 2 of them, but he didn't expect that in the end, Yi Ziochuan would scold him. Why didn't he think about who made him become like this, who caused all this? He didn't blame Yi Ziochuan, but now he let Yi Ziochuan scold him from the moral high ground. "You are amazing. You are so noble." Zaogeo pointed at Yi Ziochuan word by word. "Can you scold me now? What's wrong with me scolding you?" "Good. Really good." Zaogeo turned around and went back emotionally. "You are amazing. You brought me here. Have you ever thought of taking me back?" Zaogeo pointed at Yi Ziochuan, his body shaking with anger. "I told you I don't want to go back. Do you know what kind of bullying I suffer here?" Zaogeo's voice was trembling with tears. "Do you know what kind of bullying I suffer here? Just because I have no power and no influence. I'm disabled. I'm a useless person. You are really amazing. Everyone loves you. What a lousy place. Lousy place. Lousy place." Zaogeo's emotions were close to collapse. He turned around and walked step by step towards the top of the stairs. "I just want to, step by step, step by step, step by step, to the top. I want to be Zaogeo." Zaogeo pointed at the night sky and roared loudly. After venting his emotions, he was greeted by a brief calm. "I don't want to be bullied by others anymore. I can't stand it anymore," Zaogeo said with tears in his eyes. "I don't want to be bullied by others. I want to be Zaogeo. I want to be the highest Zaogeo. I want to be a Zaogeo who is second to none." Yi Ziochuan looked at Zaogeo, who was standing on the steps venting his emotions. To be honest, he could not empathize with Zaogeo's feelings. He was essentially a selfish person. Because he was not the one who was bullied, and he was not the one who became a eunuch. He came to this era, learned martial arts, and was surrounded by beauties. The king of Chu and Liu Bang in history were his sworn brothers. He had the template of the protagonist, but what about Zaogeo? If he wanted to avoid being bullied, he had to climb up. Who understood him when he was calculated by Liu Bang to become a eunuch? The two people had different experiences. He, Yi Zio-chan, could be himself and could stand on the moral high ground to accuse Gao Yao of becoming Zao Gao. But Gao Yao could only be Zao Gao, so the two had to part unhappily. After getting drunk, Zao Gao only heard a voice saying that you have been invited to join the dimensional chat group. Then he fell asleep drunkenly. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.